Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What up? What up? What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up?
How's it going?
There he is. There he is. I was waiting for Sam. I thought you was going to jump right in there. You didn't jump right in.
I'm thinking it's a big night here. A little nervous.
I know, but I was putting you on the spot. You're everybody, are you not?
I'm hyped. I'm ready. Let's get this started, man.
All right, forget it. Hey, listen, welcome to the 2020, the third annual Inside the Hashes Fantasy Football Draft. We are going to get started very soon, man. It's going to be an extremely fun night. I can't wait. If you guys tuned in 2 weeks ago, we had our selection show, and that was extremely fun. We got to meet all the participants. So it's going to be an amazing night. Tonight we get all the drafting out of the way, and then, listen, man, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 days away from actual NFL football kicking off. I can't wait, man. What are you excited for the most this coming season, Sam?
I'm just so super hyped that we're going to see football until February every week now. I feel like a lot of people have been waiting for this, and I think the young superstars in this league, there's a lot of younger guys that they're going to take over offenses and be a real fantasy playmaker. So I think we're going to see a lot of those guys come off the board tonight, and a lot of them kind of earlier than we might expect. So I would look at that.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great, man. I can't wait to see how this all plays out, man. I'm really excited for this season, man. For me being, a Falcons fan, everything that's going on in the division, it's, oh God, like it's ridiculous. So I just can't wait to get this thing started. So, if you don't want to wait any longer, we can jump right into it. I'm gonna leave it up to you as to when you want to start. But before we start, though, I do want to ask you, how many draft boards did you make?
So I actually had an article uploaded inside thehashes.com. I think probably 2 months ago, I made a huge draft board, just kind of went through everybody, and I made one recently. Things change every day. So there's been a lot of stuff going on. A lot of players are dropping out now. Free agency, it's still happening. You just saw Jadeveon Clowney got signed, and there's a bunch of big names still signing with teams. So a lot's changed, and I think I need to make a couple draft boards. So I made 3. So I'm going to go off my most recent one tonight, and hoping that could ride me out here.
Uh-oh. Okay. Listen, man, I've done, 2 or 3 so far, two or 3 drafts so far, man. I think I have some pretty solid picks. Actually, you know what? Let me bring up one right now. You tell me if I drafted a pretty solid team. Not too many players in this league, 49ers, okay, respect to the 49ers, Falcons all day, whatever. But I want to see if you've won, a championship here. I haven't. So I just want to see if you think that my team is nice, Yeah. All right, so at quarterback, my starting quarterback is Russell Wilson. I've got my running backs are Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, Joe Mixon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and DeAndre Swift. Those are my running backs. Now at receiver, I got Julio, Kenny Galladay, Calvin Ridley, AJ Green, Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen. Okay?
Wow.
All right. So now my tight ends are George Kittle and Hayden Hurst. My backup QB is Josh Allen. And my kicker is Greg Zuerlein, and I have the Bills defense. Talk to me, man. How does my team?
I mean, that sounds like more of a Pro Bowl roster. How many people in that league? But I think you had you went with some Falcons, so you're gonna get to see them play. Root for them. Both wide receivers have a lot of potential. I think this year both of them are gonna contribute to the offense a lot. And I don't think they're gonna be so reliant on the pass game. So I think those receivers might get more opportunities with bigger plays instead. I think the run game is gonna end up kind of opening some stuff for Matty Ice and that offense down the Georgia Dome. So I think that, and I love Russell Wilson. I still think he's probably one of the most entertaining players to watch in the league. Just some of the throws that he can make and the way he kind of runs around back there. There's nothing better. It's the beauty of football. At number 3 in Seattle, and he displays it. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I like Russell Wilson. It's funny. So I'm in this draft, and what sucks is I'm drafting with. I don't want to say I'm drafting people who don't know what they're doing, but I am drafting with people who are just a little out of there. So literally the first round, somebody drafted a quarterback. Now, he drafted Lamar Jackson, so I get it. But he drafted Lamar Jackson, and the second pick was Travis Kelce. So it's like you went quarterback, then tight end in the first and second round. It's like no wonder my lineup is the way it is because you just completely whiffed. But anyway,
I think this year especially really deep in both categories. I definitely think there's a lot of tight end that you could kind of wait till later rounds that are gonna contribute and be a big part of the offense. You got Hayden Hurst and Kittle. I think Hurst is a good starter in most rosters. So
yeah. I agree, but we're gonna go ahead and stop talking about my other drafts and get into the most important draft of the year. I mean, period. It's the most important draft of the year. It's the Inside the Hashes 2020 Fantasy Football Draft. With that being said, if you didn't tune in last 2 weeks ago, we had our selection show, and Micah Jamo was the one who got the number 1 overall pick. So we're going to go ahead and bring Micah on. I believe Micah said that it's his birthday today. So I want to give a big shout out to Micah and his mom, and a big happy birthday to your mother, man. How is she?
She's all right, thank you.
Good. Excellent. What did you do for her?
All right, so first we got some food. I had to drive down to what is it? Passyunk Street, Oregon, Passyunk Street, Philadelphia. Got some street food, and then got some wings from Outback Steakhouse.
Okay. Listen, I'm not bad at that at all. Listen, I'm a wing guy. Everybody knows this about me. I'm a wing guy. We're also joined by Chris Thomas. I don't know why. I guess we just wanted to see his beautiful face and that beard flourishing on the screen. Chris, what's up?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
Going, Chris.
I'm good, man. You know, just Micah's got the first overall pick, so I'm just trying to see where he gets first, and then I can make my pick accordingly.
All right. Well, with that being said, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and keep it moving, man. We're going to go ahead and bring Micah back on. Micah, you are on the clock. It's time. So,
All right. So I thought it was going to be a no-brainer, but my friend pointed out to me that I don't think there's ever been a running back to repeat as number one. So it made me think a little bit. But there's only two guys I'm balancing between, and I think I'm gonna take my time picking. I got all the time in the world.
you don't got all the time in the world. You got a minute and 30 left.
That's all I need. That's all I need. I think I know where I'm going with this one. I said Christian McCaffrey the other day. I don't know if I'm sticking with it or not.
Okay. Well, you got a minute and 15 seconds left. I mean, who's the other guy that you're leaning toward?
It's Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley.
Okay, solid. I can understand why there's a dilemma there. You know, I completely get that. You know, which back would you lean more toward if this wasn't a Corona season?
Honestly, it doesn't make much of a difference to me.
Really? Okay. All right. No, I get it. Okay. All right.
Honestly, I'm more of a go with my gut type of person, but for some reason my gut says Saquon and my logic says Christian McCaffrey. So it's
All right. Well, you've got 23 seconds, sir.
All right. I got this. I'm going with my logic.
He picks Christian McCaffrey. All right. So there it is, people. All right. So, Christian, tell us what went into that pick, man. Why did you select Christian over Saquon? Talk to us.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a PPR league, and Christian McCaffrey had over 100 catches last year. He had 1,000 yards receiving and rushing. So even if he doesn't replicate that kind of production, that's highly unlikely. I mean, you have to think that he's going to have enough to be the best player in fantasy anyway.
Okay. So do you think that, you know, because of the season that he had last year, teams are going to be keying on him, and maybe that production drops, you know, more than just a little?
I do think teams will key on him more, but the thing is, Teddy Bridgewater is better than Kyle Allen, so you're still going to have to respect the Panthers' passing game, especially with DJ Moore possibly blossoming into a legitimate number one and Robbie Anderson as one of the best number twos in the league. So you can't completely key on him, even if you want to.
This is true. However, like you said, to your point, somebody could say that because Teddy Bridgewater is a better passer than Kyle Allen, it might take some touches away from Christian. Sam, talk to us. How do you feel about the pick of, Christian McCaffrey, number one?
Well, I understood how he kind of was having that argument there. The one thing that separates McCaffrey from Barkley, I think, is the health. Saquon's got injured, and if he stays healthy, you're probably right. He's probably going to be the number one back in fantasy. And I'm not trying to be a homer here. I'm a Giants fan, Penn State fan, but I think he's going to be number one back in fantasy if he plays 16 games. But I don't know if he's going to play 16 games. And Christian McCaffrey, he doesn't miss games. And both guys are heading into new offenses also. So you got to realize that. Jason Garrett's in New York now. Matt Rule's in Carolina. I don't think it'll affect these guys too much. And kind of like Micah was already saying, the Corona season, I don't think impacts guys like this because they're just players. They're ballers. I mean, they want to compete. They're young guys. They're both built. They're massive. And those are the guys that people are looking up to as running backs now. Those are the people you want to be. They can do everything on the field. So I don't think you go wrong there with either pick.
Got you. Okay, I completely understand that. I definitely get it. It's funny because, you know, like you said, it's funny that you said, you know, about the injuries with Saquon Barkley. That was kind of the knock on Christian McCaffrey coming out. Did he have the NFL build enough to last in the NFL 16 games? And we've seen him do it week in and week out. He shows up. And so that's pretty interesting. So, Micah, thank you so much, man. That was an excellent pick. It's time to move on to number 2, which means Christopher Thomas. You are now on the clock. All right. So You got 60 seconds to make this pick here, guy.
Oh,
All right?
man.
Yeah, 60 seconds. So talk to me about who you're thinking about here.
Well, Micah just made this easy for me. If Micah would have taken Saquon Barkley, then that would have changed my entire draft board. But I got him in a league just last week in my own league, so I'm doubling down on him, getting Saquon Barkley.
Okay, not mad at it. Okay, very swift, very concise. He knew what he was doing. He had a game plan going in, and he said, "I'm sticking to it." I understand it. I like it. I'm not mad at it at all. Okay, so outside of the fact that Christian McCaffrey wasn't there, what was the reason for you going with Saquon Barkley over, someone else?
Well, this is the first time. This is the highest draft pick I've ever had in fantasy, period. So I just wanted to make sure that the last year I struggled with, having a legitimate, consistent number one running back to go to. So Saquon was on the board. I watch him play twice a year. He always gets one of those one or two big giant plays that cripples fantasy teams every single week. So yeah, I just had to get him on my team. Normally I go against, division rivals, but you can't ignore a talent like Saquon.
Completely understand. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and stop your time. And we're going to go ahead and bring up Mr. Big Trust himself, Mr. Darren Braxton. He is number 3. He's the number 3 overall pick. And with that being said, you, sir, are now on the clock. So, who are you thinking about picking with the number 3 overall pick?
So, I'm going to make this real simple for y'all.
Oh, okay.
I got
real simple.
5 running backs out of my top 6 guys. And the number 1 guy on my board, which I know no one was going to take right now. But I feel like by the time my second pick comes around, he's going to be gone. So whether or not do I want to be that guy to draft Lamar Jackson as his first overall pick, or do I want to be the guy to go ahead and get Derrick Henry or Ezekiel Elliott? That's my top 3. Elliott is the guy I'm really leaning towards only because, well, it is a PPR league and he's going to get your points. The Cowboys still run through Zeke. It is what it is. They're not going to change completely from that. They're built to still go through Zeke.
All right, well, you just took up all your time speaking. You got 10 seconds to make your pick. Who we got?
Woo, I did it.
5. Lamar Jackson. Oh,
Lamar Jackson.
No. The homer strikes early with a quarterback in the first round. Oh, my. Listen, man, I got to ask, man, why Lamar, man? I mean, obviously, we know the reasons why, but again, you were talking about running backs and different things.
Like that, he put up the same amount of yards as majority of running backs last year. He had 7 rushing touchdowns along with that, and then he led the league in passing. He's a fantasy nightmare for everyone. And the schedule for the Ravens this year, one of the easiest in the entire league. So you know he's going to put up more numbers.
One could say because the schedule is so easy, if you guys get to the Super Bowl, it could be an asterisk. With that, we're going to go ahead and move on from this Mr. Big Trust himself. Thank you, Darren. So if you're just joining, watching on any of our live platforms, that be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those things, again, welcome to the 2020 Inside the Hashes Fantasy Football League. Again, my name is Avery. I'm joined by Sam Kirk, my co-host. And just to recap, the first overall pick was Christian McCaffrey. Number 2 was Saquon Barkley. Number 3 was Lamar Jackson. And now on the clock is Mr. Juan Tom Bomb himself, the one and only. Juan, bring him in. Talk to us. You're on the clock. Boom.
Hey guys, so I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I know that during the selection show, I said that I would have taken Michael Thomas 4th overall but due to the fact that Darren drafted Lamar Jackson, which is one heck of a stunner to me if I've ever seen one. I'm going to go ahead and take who I think is going to get the most bang for my buck. I'm going to have to give it to Saints running back Alvin Kamara.
Whoa, Alvin Kamara. Okay, I'm not mad at the pick. I just wonder if you guys didn't join the Aired Out podcast this past Thursday. My hot take Thursday was that I do not believe Alvin Kamara is a Saint this season. By the end of the season, I think that he will be a New England Patriot or a Jacksonville Jaguar. But with that being said, I actually had, and this is a small little hot take. I was going to save it for hot take Thursday, but I don't want to use the same hot take, so I'll just put it on here. I had a dream last night that Alvin Kamara signed with the Dolphins. I don't know why, but that was the dream that I had. With that being said, do you think that this is a good pick?
Personally, I think so. For one, I don't like Ezekiel Elliott as a person, so just the thought of having him on my draft team disgusts me. And number two,
personal pick.
And number two, the fact that Kamara is such a Swiss Army knife of a player is what really intrigues me. You can line him in at the slot, even inside a tight end, he can run a good route. Outside, an outside receiver, he can also really do well in, especially when running a post on the inside or a corner on the out. And most of all, he's a tough nail running back. He ran on a partially torn meniscus last year and still produced pretty well for that Saints back line. So I have all the confidence in the world. And even if he's not a Saint by the end of this season or going into next season, doesn't really matter to me so long as I get the production that he brings.
I can definitely understand that. I think, like I said, I think the production is going to go higher this year because of the fact that you pointed out he was playing on a torn meniscus or partially torn meniscus. But some people have some skepticism about him because he did have a down year, quote unquote, without Mark Ingram. So thank you so much, Juan. Good luck to you, man. We'll see you again soon. With that being said, Gianluca is in the building, and he has the 5th overall pick in this year's draft. So it's time. We're going to go ahead and put Gianluca on the clock. Gianluca, talk to us. Where you thinking, man?
I saw Alvin Kamara started slipping. I was getting a little excited, but that's out the window. But I wanted Michael Thomas too, but I can't pass up on Ezekiel Elliott. He's just a baller. He just runs.
And there it is. I mean, he said he couldn't pass up on him. He selects him. I understand the selection. I mean, you're talking about one of the most productive running backs over the last 4 or 5 seasons. I mean, the guy is perennially in the top 5 in rushing yards. He doesn't miss a lot of games due to injury. So I mean, from a consistency standpoint and from a production standpoint, it makes sense. I mean, what went into you taking him over Michael Thomas?
Just running backs. Like I value running backs more in fantasy than wide receivers. I feel like wide receivers are really deep in this draft too.
I understand it. So, Sam, would you have taken Michael Thomas or Zeke there?
Oh, I think you made the right pick. I saw these reports coming out that Zeke was actually getting more work as a wideout in Mike McCarthy offense, which I loved hearing. And I think that's the one part of his game where he does have room to kind of get better. And I think as you mentioned, they're still built to run through Zeke. I think they're going to use him. But my only worry is Jason Garrett's known for using his running backs a lot, and he did. He made DeMarco Murray. He got DeMarco Murray paid, and he got all these other running backs just up to their prime. And I'm a little worried about how Dak's contract situation. He might be throwing the ball more just to see if I don't know. I think it's the right pick. But I don't think you could really pass up, like Gianluca said. I don't think you'd pass up Zeke there. Their production's going to be there no matter what.
Makes sense. I get it. So we've got a lot of running backs off the board. I think all running backs. But did you get it? Did y'all catch it? You guys didn't catch it. You caught it. There it is. Gianluca caught it. Lamar Jackson is not a running back, people. He's a quarterback, and he's proven it time and time again. Thank you so much, Gianluca. We appreciate it. Like I said, good luck to you the rest of this draft, and I can't wait to see who you draft next. Well, with that said, it's time for my twin, the one, the only, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts, to jump on and come on in and talk to us about who he wants to select with the number 6 overall pick. So with that being said, Ray, if you could unmute yourself and jump in, you are on the clock. And he's still muted. It's all right, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the unmute button taken off. It's taken off, and now we've got Ray. Talk to us. Who you taking, Ray?
I am still thinking. If you don't give me 1 minute here, okay?
Oh, take your time. You've got a minute and 36 seconds left.
All right.
Who are you debating between?
I'm debating if I should take one of the next backs or if I could jump on Michael Thomas right here. You know, so
understandable. Sam, talk to me. How would you give Ray maybe some insight or some instruction on how you would approach this situation? So you've got the top, quote unquote, 4 fantasy running backs off of the board currently. You got potentially the top fantasy quarterback off the board here. How would you approach this situation?
With the top 4 backs off the board, I think the wide receivers seem to be kind of falling. So I think he might be able to get a legitimate wide out one in the second round if he wanted to. And I think there's a couple running backs on the board that he could jump on right now. And I have a name in mind that I think Ray might surprise some people with a pick in, but I don't want to say anything. But there's definitely some guys out there that he could grab the running back spot, and I think he may need to before they start flying off the board in the first round.
yeah.
Okay, well, you got 30 seconds to make a pick here, Ray. So I understand exactly where Sam is coming from. I mean, there's so much that goes into this, people. So if you haven't caught on by now, there's so much thought that has to go into this. It's not just, oh, this guy is the best person available, so let me select him. You kind of got to strategize and say, I still need to build my team, and I need to build a winning and successful team.
Well, you know what?
You know,
I'm going to go ahead and take Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas is listen. You brought it down to the wire. You had 1 second left, and Michael Thomas was the guy. So there it is. Michael Thomas is the one that he wants to select, and there you go. And you see it on the draft board. Michael Thomas, the first receiver in the 2020 ITH draft to be taken off. Ray, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
We truly appreciate it, man. Good luck to you. I can't wait to see who you choose next. I like the thought process. I like the fact that you were kind of spinning your wheels a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and move on. But before we move on to the next contestant, Sam, is that the guy that you would have taken here, or do you still lean toward you feel like he should have taken like a running back in this slot?
Well, the guy I would have taken, I think, was just taken in Dalvin Cook.
Oh, wow.
Draft.
Yeah. Look at that. Breaking news. Darius Riddick, without an interview, without anything. This could be an auto draft maybe. We don't know. But he selects Dalvin Cook. And with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and keep it moving. But Sam, go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh, I think Dalvin Cook's a great selection. They lost Stephon Diggs to free agency. He's a Buffalo Bill now. And I think people knock on Dalvin Cook for no reason. The production's there. I mean, look at the stats last year. He's consistent. You know what you're getting out of him. I still think he's going to be a huge part of that offense. And I think that Vikings team might surprise a lot of people in NFC North, even with the loss of Diggs.
Yeah, it definitely should be an interesting division. I think, with Matthew Stafford coming back, if he can stay healthy, and what Kenny Galladay did without him, all of those things, I think it's going to be an interesting division. So I appreciate the Dalvin Cook pick, and with him being healthy last year, we saw he played extremely well. So we'll see. We'll see. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring in the mayor of tacos, Mike himself. Mike, this is supposed to be your area of expertise. You are one of the panelists on the Fantasy Aces podcast that airs every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So talk to us about who you're thinking about picking with this pick. And with that, I'm going to bring up my timer and put you on the clock starting now. Talk to us.
Hey, who do you think I'm gonna pick right now? What do you think I'm?
Who
going
I
with
think
right
you're
here?
going to pick?
Yeah.
Derek Carr. I think you're going to take Derek Carr. But
Oh, that's
joke,
not
I
a bad
think
idea,
you're probably- you're probably going to take Josh Jacobs, which wouldn't be a bad pick. And there it is. Josh Jacobs is the running back taken. Honestly, I think this is probably one of the most underrated picks of fantasy draft, period. I think he deserves to be a top 5 running back pick in fantasy draft. This is just my opinion. I think because of what he did last year as a rookie and what they want to do and how they want to build around him. Is that kind of what went into your pick, Mike?
I mean, after I was done crying that Lamar Jackson was gone, I thought, who can my makeup relationship be with and my new love affair, and it's got to be Josh Jacobs. So yeah, I mean, he's a good player. I like players on the rookie deal still trying to prove it, and then guys who are on the who want that second contract, who are on that 4th year, like Cook and Kamara, who they could surprise hold out. You never know. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped about it.
Okay, talk to me, Sam. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I love the pick, especially I think a little bit of a homer pick, but I don't think you reached. I mean, that's probably the slot where Jacobs is going to be taken. If he's not taken there, it's probably going to be the next 3 picks. And I think they have a bunch of hog mollies up front that are going to lay some blocks, and he's going to get a couple holes to run through. And I think that Raider offense be fun to watch this year. I'm telling you, if John Gruden, he's going to have some great mic'd up moments over there with Henry Ruggs, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller. They got some athletes, and I think Josh Jacobs he's going to have a phenomenal year.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a possibility for him to have a great year. Like you said, Henry Ruggs, Darren Waller. So thank you so much, Mike. We do appreciate it. Again, he takes Josh Jacobs from the Oakland. Excuse me, not Oakland. They're not in Oakland anymore. Unfortunately, stupid. The Las Vegas Raiders. I'm so mad that they left Oakland. I mean, it's Oakland, man. It's Oaktown. Why would you do that? But anyway, we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna go ahead and bring Richie on. Richie, it's your turn to select. Obviously, a lot of very consistent, very powerful running backs have gone. And with that being said, I mean, who's kind of in your ear or in your head right now on who you should select? Talk to us.
You don't even have to start the clock. I wrote up a game plan for my pick. Mahomes or nothing. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I'm just stunned.
Trying to take it in.
I'm just stunned. Patrick Mahomes, another quarterback taken in the first round. Listen, I don't know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff is out of my I just don't even. I don't get it. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes. Why Patrick Mahomes? Why did you take Patrick Mahomes with this pick?
Well, I was looking at the running. I knew I wasn't going to get a top running back because the 9th pick isn't going to give you that. And the receivers are deep, and I have the swing around pick, so I should still be able to get a pretty good running back. And I got arguably the best, not arguably the best player in football.
Okay, listen, I can understand it. I probably wouldn't have taken a quarterback this early. I understand the temptation to get a guy like Patrick Mahomes on your team, though. So I'm not mad at it at all. Sam, what do you think about it?
Well, I'm currently in so much joy and excitement because I'm picking next. But I mean,
all right.
At the same time, he's gonna. I mean, you don't have to worry about the quarterback position all year. You're not going to be looking for the waiver wire. You're playing Mahomes every week, no matter what defense he plays, because he's going to be putting up numbers, and you're expecting at least 2 touchdowns a week. And I think they only got more weapons now this year, and I think they're going to repeat, if not improve, on what they did last year. So.
Understood. All right, with that being said, Sam, you are on the clock. I mean, obviously, you said that you're okay with him taking Patrick Mahomes because obviously there's a guy that you had your eyes set on. Who is that guy? Who are you thinking about go ahead and taking right here?
Well, I think my pick is there, and I'm not going to take too much time, and I'm going to select Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think he kind of fell. You're expecting a lot from a rookie, but again, he's in that KC offense that's going to be so dangerous. And some of these reports that you're hearing about how involved he's going to be in that offense, you would think he'd have so many chances in the red zone. And they're not going to let Mahomes drop back 50. They're going to have to save him a little bit and take some pressure off of him. And I think this is the guy that can do it. And there's a chance he ends up being top 5 running back in fantasy. I think there's a very big possibility that actually happens.
I can agree with that. I'm not mad at that pick. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is, I think everybody has kind of gotten their eyes open a little bit based on what the experts are saying about him and the forecast of what he can do moving into the season. Obviously, we saw that he's a phenomenal pass catcher out of the backfield. He's a shifty guy. He's also willing to play in the trenches. I'm concerned with his size, of course, but if they use him right, then potentially he could be a pretty solid fantasy back. So I'm not mad about it. However, it is time for my pick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and start the clock here on myself. Let me go ahead and start that clock. Okay, so who's available here? All right, so I think I'm going to have to lean toward what you were talking about earlier, Sam, when you were talking about the running backs and making sure that you want to have a solid starting running back, at least one on your roster, right? I mean, when you have a 12-man league, it's kind of tough sometimes to get the top 5 or even 6 running backs, right? So, but you still want to have somebody who's a starter who gets consistent touches and gets different things like that, right? Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take Joe Mixon. I like Joe Mixon. I like what they're doing in Cincinnati as far as the weapons that they're putting around Joe Burrow. I think that opens up the field a lot more for Joe Mixon, and I think that he's going to be able to play, a lot better because of the fact. I mean, obviously the offensive line is still a question, right? But I think because of those weapons, you can't load the box as much, and so I chose him over Derrick Henry because of the fact that Tennessee's wide receiver core still doesn't scare me. Cincinnati's, with the healthy A.J. Green, scares me more than Tennessee's. I think teams can load the box on Derrick Henry. I think, obviously, we saw it last year. They were loading the box on him as well, and he still was doing his thing. But that was more toward the end of the season. I think Joe Mixon was consistent all season. So that's the reason. And he's a better catcher out the backfield, so I went with Joe Mixon there. And I'm satisfied with my pick. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on. Mr. Chris. Chris, it's time for you to make your pick. You are on the clock. It starts now. Talk to us.
Finally, I mean, I really don't have to put too much thought into this. I mean, to get the king at the 12th spot, I mean, I need to go to Burger King after this and get one of those cardboard crowns. I got to start wearing it for every game now. I think that's a steal, Derrick Henry.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm not mad at Derrick Henry. Not mad at Derrick Henry at all. So, like I said, I kind of wanted to go Derrick Henry. I almost went Derrick Henry over Joe Mixon. But, again, for the reasons that I stated, their receiving core just does not threaten anybody. To me, if I was a corner, I would not be fearful of that receiving core. Is that something that is that something that goes into your thought process, or is it something where you're like, listen, man, I saw a trend or something that made me say I got to get this guy?
To be honest with you, I didn't even think Derrick Henry would be there at the 12th spot. So, I mean, the fact that he's going to be just another workhorse in the Tennessee offense, I mean, he pretty much carried them on offense. Ryan Tannehill played an amazing part in having the year he did, but it's a no-brainer right here, I think, for Derrick Henry.
Okay, I completely understand it, man. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Again, good luck to you. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. Actually, no, you have the back-to-back. You have the back-to-backs. Well, let's give you another.
Don't take away my 15 minutes.
Well, again, so the first round is done, everyone. The second round is officially started. The first pick in the second round, Chris, has it. So I just want to run down everybody who's gone so far. So we have Christian McCaffrey off the board at number 1, then Saquon Barkley, then Lamar Jackson, then Alvin Kamara, followed by Ezekiel Elliott. Michael Thomas was the first receiver and only receiver in the first round. After that, we had Dalvin Cook. Then we had Josh Jacobs, running back for the Las Vegas Raiders, and then another quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. After that, we had his teammate, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And then we had Joe Mixon. The final pick of the first round was none other than Derrick Henry by Mr. Chris DeServo. So with that being said, we're going to start the second round. Chris, you're on the clock. Boom. Who you got?
I won't keep you guys here that long. I think it's another no-brainer here. I mean, I could go another running back, but I think if I got a receiver like Devontae Adams there, I think he's going to have to be the pick right here.
Wow, Devontae Adams, the second receiver off the board here. I completely understand it. I guess you want to get one of the higher end receivers. Obviously, we're all thinking that Michael Thomas is going to be that guy, right? With the targets that he got last year, the quarterback that he's got throwing him the ball, the division that he plays in, and the unfortunate truth of the defensive backs in that division. It's safe to assume that he's going to put up some pretty good numbers again. So I'm not mad at it. Chris, thank you so much. Can't wait to see the back-to-backs, man. Those are the ones, man. They're tricky, but we appreciate you coming on. Can't wait to see you.
Thank you.
All right, so it's my turn again. And I'm thinking. I'm not sure who I want to take here. It's really, really tough. It's really, really tough. I'm thinking that, oh man, I really want to go with another running back here. But I do want to have one of those top guys at receiver. So I'm going to go with my boy. Everybody knows who he is. Julio Jones is going to get selected right here, the number 2 pick in the second round. I'm going to go with Julio Jones. Again, the reason being is because I want to have a top receiver, right? I have a late round draft pick in the first round. So all of the quote unquote premier running backs are gone. So with that being said, I want to get one of the premier wide receivers in the league. There are some other receivers that I've thought about taking as, like a Tyreek Hill and different things like that. But Tyreek Hill had a hamstring injury last year. We heard this year that going at some point in camp, he sat out a couple days in practice because of another hamstring injury. When you're that fast, you typically have a lot of hamstring injuries. I wanted to go DeAndre Hopkins, but again, he has Kyler Murray throwing him the football. We know he's a phenomenal pass catcher, no matter who's throwing him the football. We know that for sure. But I just don't know with that division. That division is really tough. So I want to go with Julio Jones. And I think because Julio has the support cast of a Calvin Ridley, now a Hayden Hurst, a Laquan Trevor, Matt Ryan, and throwing the ball, and then you can't really load the box if you try to load the box to stop Todd Gurley, Julio's going to destroy. So I'm going to go with Julio there. All right, so we're going to keep it moving, and now it's back to my co-host, Sam. You are on the clock, Mr. Sam Kirk. Who are you thinking about taking here?
Well, I kind of saw your pick coming, and I think you picked him in a pretty good spot. And I think you could have made a case he could have gone before Adams, but I think he's either 2 or 3 wide out. So I like your pick, Avery. But I'm debating here between a few guys. Obviously, Tyreek Hill's there. It's really tempting, but I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and to bank on one offense is tough, I feel like sometimes. And like some weeks, not every week, those guys are going to score 35 each. So I'm going to take another running back here since the receivers seem to be falling, and I think there are a lot of them that I could fill out my roster with. And I'm going to go with Austin Eckler. I really think Austin Eckler's being – I thought you were going to pick him for a little bit. That's what I was thinking, but I think he's being really undervalued. Melvin Gordon was there last year, and the production was still high. So any guy behind him is not going to be as good as Melvin Gordon is, and I think – they're going to kind of give him the keys to the offense. Tyrod's going to need a kind of guy to dump it down to, hand it off to, and he's not the guy that could make plays by himself. So I think Austin Eckler could have a good year, and I don't think the Chargers are going to be that bad of a team that people are making them out to be.
I can agree with that, man. I was this close to picking Austin Eckler. I'm not gonna lie. I really did want to select him for those reasons. Like you said, Melvin Gordon's not there, so he's obviously going to be the starter going into this year. He knows the offense. He produced extremely well when he was given the football. Especially when it was a situation that got Melvin Gordon out of the Chargers organization in the first place because of how well Austin played. So I really did want to go Austin there, but like I said, I just wanted to make sure I had one of those premier receivers as well on my roster, just to kind of make sure I had something where I'm like, I got a splash guy. So I completely understand it. So, all right, Sam, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to go back to Mr. First Round quarterback himself, Richie, who selected Patrick Mahomes in the first round. It's your turn again. You are on the clock. Talk to us about who you're thinking about picking here with your second round pick.
I think you're muted, Richie. There you go.
At least he's not in a broom closet anymore.
Yeah, I got my dad's state of the art.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So, all along I wanted Mahomes with the first pick because I knew the depth. And Sam, when you said you were taking running back, I held my breath for a second, but good thing you didn't take this guy. But I'm going with my squad's running back, Nick Chubb.
Not a bad pick.
Cleveland Browns.
I actually was going to go Nick Chubb as well. It was between Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb. Obviously, those were the running backs that I was thinking about. But like I said, I gave you my reasons why I took Julio. I love Nick Chubb. I think he played extremely well last year. I think the team realizes we need to play through him, and so I think that he's going to see the football early and often this coming season. So I'm not mad at the pick, not mad at the pick at all. Is there any other running back that you might have taken over him?
I honestly thought Derrick Henry was going to keep falling because you guys don't seem to like him too much, but no, I have I said, I mapped out a little bit, but I had Mahomes in the first round, Chubb in the second round. So right now, I couldn't be happier with my draft.
I'm not mad at it all. Like I said, I love Nick Chubb. I loved him at Georgia. I thought he was phenomenal. I thought that he was going to be a very good player in the league. I didn't think he was going to go to Cleveland, but he did. And listen, he's found success there. So I'm very happy for him because I'm a fan of Georgia running backs. Obviously, I'm a Falcons fan. I used to live in Georgia. Yada yada yada. Anyway, thank you so much, Richie. We truly appreciate it. Again, good luck to you the rest of the rounds. Now it's time for the mayor of tacos, Mr. Raider himself. Mike is back, and he is now on the clock. Now, Mike took his running back for his team in the first round. Is this going to be a Raiders trend throughout this draft, or are you going to be strategic in how you draft these guys?
Hey, that's a great question. I'm really considering Derek Carr here, but I think he'll last until the third round, so I think I'm going to be safe. This one was tough. Nick Chubb might have been my pick here. I was debating between him and this person, and Aaron Jones. So I'm debating between Aaron Jones and Kenyon Drake. But I was just reading that Kenyon Drake is like some darling, and PFF really likes him, and all these things really like him. So I think I'm going Kenyon Drake. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Kenyon Drake is the pick. I'm not mad at that. I think with the fact that, Miles Sanders was the next pick. That was by Darius. I'm guessing Darius is auto-drafting. All right, so Kenyon Drake was your pick. I completely understand it. I think that, losing their goodness gracious, I'm gapping his name. Lord Jesus. Oh, the running back. Who was there before Kenyon Drake?
DJ?
Oh, God. Thank you. David Johnson. Losing David Johnson, obviously Kenyon Drake is going to get more touches, right? And we've seen that he's a shifty guy. He can definitely catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think he's going to get more touches. And I think because he gets more touches, obviously that leads to more production. But because of the addition of somebody like DeAndre Hopkins, it allows people it allows them to open the offense up more because you're not going to see as many safeties down in the box. You got to guard DeAndre Hopkins or he will cook you. So I'm not mad at the pick. Obviously, again, like I said, Miles Sanders was next by Darius. Mike, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and bring Ray back on because Ray, it's time for you to pick. He's obviously consulting with his consultant on his next pick. So with that being said, the draft stops for no one. You are on the clock. Ray Roberts, who are you thinking about taking here with your second-round draft pick?
I'm going to take Aaron Jones.
And there it is. Very, very, very short, sweet, and concise. I'm liking the fact that these picks are coming in much quicker. I think everybody is starting to realize, okay, time to that first round. The first round jitters are over. Now it's time to be very, very selective. So, Ray, what went into your pick to take Aaron Jones?
I'll be honest with you. I would have been happy with him or Sanders, to be honest with you. I think I'll get like pretty much the same similar stats from each of them. I think Sanders will catch more balls, but Jones will have more rushing yards. I think. But I just wanted to get a number one running back. That's all, because I got the best receiver in football. So
he's not the best receiver in football, but
he may not be the most athletic, but he is the most consistent. So we'll go there.
I don't know if I agree with that either. It's only been 3 years. But with that being said, do you think that, the Packers drafted, I believe they drafted A.J. Dillon, correct? So do you think that's going to affect Aaron Jones' touches?
I think it will a little bit. I think that Dillon will get some goal line carries. I think that later in the year, I'm a little more about later in the season when he gets a little bit more experience in the offense. I like A.J. Dillon, but he is a 4 yards and a cloud of dust type of guy. He's not as good as Aaron Jones is. So,
understand. Well, thank you so much, Ray. Good luck to you the rest of the way. It looks like we're boring Lucas, so we're going to bring him in. He was yawning there. He must be tired from a long day of work, or he's tired of hearing my voice. So, with that being said, we're going to put him on the clock so he can make his pick. Luca, talk to us about who you're thinking about picking here.
All right, so I was thinking of doubling up on running back, but Aaron Jones went right before me, so I can't do that. So I'm feeling I'll get the best tight end out there. I'm going to take Travis Kelce.
Wow, Travis Kelce, tight end in the second round. Not mad at the pick. Kind of shocked that a tight end was taken in the second round, but I understand, again, with this many players and this many teams, you kind of want to snag those guys that are going to produce for you, because the later it gets, the less likely you're going to see those guys. So I completely understand it. Was there somebody that you were thinking, because obviously you were leaning toward running back, was there a running back that you were thinking that was potentially in your radar other than Aaron Jones that you might have taken over Travis?
I do like James Conner this year. I was thinking of him. It was between him and Travis Kelce. But with Big Ben back, I think the Steelers will be back to doing what they usually do.
Understandable. I think Big Ben under center definitely helps that offense for sure. So thank you so much. Gianluca, everyone, with his second pick, takes Mr. Travis Kelce himself. With that being said, Juan is now on the clock for his second pick in the second round. Juan, who you think about taking here, man?
Now, there's so many good choices left on the clock, guys. As much as I'd want to solidify the running back position, part of playing fantasy is solidifying the roster with playmakers. That being said, I am stuck in between two top players, one in tight end, George Kittle, the other one wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. And it's just so hard to choose. So while I'm mulling it over, and I don't know how much time I have left, do y'all have any quick picks you can throw my way?
Well, you've got a minute and 25. Sam, talk to us. Is that something that is on your mindset as well, those type of guys at this point or at this juncture? And if so, which way would you lean?
Well, you kind of referenced this just a few seconds ago. I think it's a little bit too early for tight ends. And I think, Juan, you have a pretty good idea with that guy in AZ now that I think he might have a great year. I think there's a lot of optimism around that offense right now, but yet again, I think Kyler's going to throw the ball. I mean, they're going to try to push the ball down the field, and you got to realize who you're like. He's the best jump ball playmaker in the game. I think he's the best wideout in the game. You can make the case. him and Julio are right there, 1 and 2 with me. But you can make the case. I think he's better than Adams, and I think he's better than some of the wideouts that were actually taken. So that air raid offense might do you a lot of service there, especially late in the second round. You might be getting a steal.
Yeah, you've got 27 seconds here, so I just wanted to say I agree with Sam. Like, I think that, tight end can kind of wait, but a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who perennially gets 1,000 yards no matter who's throwing him the ball, and now you got a gunslinger and Kyler, who do you think about taking one?
Who can give you just as much?
I made my pick.
And there it is, DeAndre Hopkins. I think he made the right choice. I'm going to be completely honest. I think he made the right choice with taking DeAndre. How do you feel about that pick, Juan?
Relieved a little bit, honestly. Because, I have always been a preacher of filling in the depth early and often in the skills position. It always starts with running back and wide receivers, minimum 3 per position before you move on anywhere else. So I'm glad I'm going off on a good start here.
I almost thought my pick when it swung back around. So I think you had to steal one. It's a good pick.
Appreciate it, guys.
Listen, I completely understand the pick. Like I said, Kyler Murray's going to throw that thing around. So thanks, Juan. We truly appreciate it. Now, Mr. Big Trust himself, he's already got himself a Raven, which is typical. And I completely understand it, actually. Like I said, Lamar Jackson, you're talking about somebody who's going to be dynamic no matter what. So completely understand it. But, he doesn't have a running back. He doesn't have a receiver. There's so many things that he needs at this point. Mr. Big Trust, where are you thinking about leaning?
Honestly, I'm not even sure right now. I knew King Henry was not going to be there by the time I got there, so I plotted on Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb got taken. Plotted on King and Drake. Drake got taken. Plotted on Aaron Jones. Taken. And the one guy I said, he's going to last. He's going to last because no one's thinking about him. D-Hop. Take it right before me. So I'm a wide receiver.
But there's so many good receivers.
I know the wide receiver is still too deep, so I'm not going wide receiver. I gotta go running back. But my selection of running back is just
there's some good backs out there, man.
Good, but they're not the ones I want. But I got one for you though, Avery. You might like this, and so
I know exactly where you're going, and that's the guy that I wanted. So I completely understand where you're going. I don't even have to, Todd Gurley is going to be selected in this draft. I think people are really sleeping on Todd Gurley. I was hoping that he would be there coming back around. Honestly, truly, I would have taken him point blank period. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season. You got to think teams are not going to be able to load the box on that team.
You have to. There's 2 good wideouts on the outsides, including Julio Jones is one. Then you have Hayden Hurst, who came from the Ravens and is a very good tight end in his own right. Now he gets to catch passes as the sole tight end, basically, from Matt Ryan. And you see what Austin Hooper did. So Todd Gurley's going to have plenty of room to work.
Exactly. And he's an excellent pass catcher out of the backfield as well. So I think Todd Gurley makes a ton of sense here. To be honest, this is my favorite pick of the draft so far. I'm going to be completely honest. I love this pick right here. I think he did a phenomenal job. Thanks so much, Darren. Good luck to you the rest of the way. It's time for Chris. He is back on the clock after having the second pick in the draft. It's been a while since we've seen that beard, but he's back on the clock. Chris, who are you thinking about taking there?
I was hoping Travis Kelce fell like a few more slots because I never had him on my fantasy team, but it is what it is. I'm just going to be simple. Fantasy is all about PPR. Our league definitely, rewards, big plays down the field, 50 to 75-yard plays. So I'm going to get the guy who is in the offense that's perfect for that.
I knew it was coming. Tyreek Hill. It was between Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. I knew it was coming. I think that obviously those. I think they were in the top 5 respectively as far as plays of that number going down the field. They both have quarterbacks who have cannons. Throw him in the football, so I'm not mad at this pick at all. I completely understand it. Tyreek Hill is somebody that, as long as he's healthy, he's going to threaten deep down the field. He showed that he can jump. He's strong. He can catch. He can run routes. He's phenomenal. Arguably a top 5 receiver in this league. Sam, how do you feel about it?
Well, I feel like Chris has a bunch of superhumans on his team. I mean, you can make a case he's two of the greatest athletes in the league. Saquon's legs are tree trunks. We've seen it. And Tyreek Hill is an actual cheetah. So I don't think you can you're going to get big plays. And like you said, this league does reward big plays. And I was hoping Hill just kind of continue to I thought
As was I.
I thought it was going to go Mahomes Hill right there. But I think you made a good pick for definitely where he fell. Like the Hopkins and Hill, I almost like them as much as Michael Thomas at 6 per se or 7 where he went. But I think the value is there.
Honestly, like the fact that he's in the back half of the second round, I think at that point he's a steal.
For sure.
I completely understand. Oh, wow. Michael with the surprise pick. He didn't even go. He didn't even wait. Chris, thank you so much, man. He didn't even wait. Micah said, listen, I'm getting my receiver right now. And
I wasn't sure if there was a timer or not, so I just picked him really quick.
Listen, I completely understand. Listen, once you're on the clock, you are ready to go. If you're ready to go, you can make your pick. You don't have to wait for us. So Mike Evans obviously was his pick in the second round. What went into your thought to take Mike Evans there?
I know Tom Brady's 43, but the last time he had a receiver as dominant as Mike Evans, he threw for 4,806 yards and 50 touchdowns. It was a long time ago, but I think he still has it in his arm. I think Mike Evans is going to go off this year.
I couldn't agree more. I think that he has a stable of weapons at his disposal, and I think he's going to have a phenomenal season, possibly more than likely be an MVP consideration again. So now we're starting the third round. All right, this is where it starts to ramp up as far as speed goes. You only got 60 seconds for everything moving on here. So, Micah, you are now on the clock. The timer starts now. What do you got for us?
All right. I think I'm going to collect another running back before they're all gone. And I'm going to go with Chris Carson. Oh, no, I clicked the wrong button.
Oh, no, he took the guy when he took the teammate.
I clicked the wrong button.
Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, this is like one of those fantasy no-nos. You never take 2 receivers on the same team. Not to say that it can't work, but typically it doesn't work. However, these 2 guys both went over 1,000 yards last year. They both were, I believe they both scored double-digit touchdowns or were very close to it. I know Mike Evans did. I think Chris only had 8. He might only had 8, but he was close to double digits as well. This is not a terrible pick. However, it is a very strange pick. Oh, he switched it. Oh, wow. He allowed this Carson pick to go through. And that's what happens when you're the commissioner. When you're the commissioner, you can do things like that. Okay, so you're safe with Chris Carson. Why Chris Carson?
All right, well, I was trying to click Chris Carson. I clicked the wrong Chris. But
got it.
Seattle, even though they have Russell Wilson, arguably the best quarterback in the league, Seattle likes to run the ball. That's what Pete Carroll does. That's what they're going to continue to do. And even though Chris Carson had fumble problems last year, I think he'll resolve it this offseason and get back to being a dominant running back.
Should be very interesting. I mean, they got a very, very deep backfield there. Micah Hyde. It was what is his daggone name? The running back who used to be on the Texans, Carlos Hyde. Thank you so much, Carlos Hyde. With that addition, again, a lot of firepower in the backfield. Russell Wilson has now been selected by Christopher Thomas. Chris, why Russ?
Simple. He's one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the league. To me, he's an elite quarterback, the second best quarterback in the league. And Sam said it earlier on top of the broadcast. He's just fun to watch. So if I want a guy who is going to potentially hover around 250 yards passing, like 50 yards rushing on the ground, takes care of the football. He's the perfect fantasy quarterback. He doesn't kill you. And like when he's on, and hopefully Seattle revs it up this year, putting more responsibility on Russell Wilson instead of just taking the ball away from his hands. And as I mentioned, he's loaded on offense. Josh Gordon got reinstated. DK Metcalf's going into a second year in the system. He's got Tyler Lockett. Chris Carson's coming back in the backfield. That is a loaded Seattle offense. And Russell Wilson's the ringleader of the circus. So I had to get the ringleader.
Bold prediction. That's the NFC title favorite. That's my NFC favorite right there in Seattle.
Okay. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. All right, Chris, thanks so much. Again, we're going to keep it moving this round moving forward. All right, so Mr. Big Trust is back on the clock. Russell Wilson is gone. and he takes Chris Godwin, and there it goes. So Chris Godwin, the second receiver of the Bucs, has been taken. So what goes into that pick there?
Real simple. Gotta thank you, Jerome, Mr. Commissioner, for allowing that to go through with the switcheroo. For the Chris, I was looking. I was about to be mad if another one of my guys slipped. You gotta think though, Mike Evans is gonna get doubled. They're gonna look out for Rob Gronkowski, which means the running back, the second wide receiver, and the third wide receiver is gonna have joyful days when it comes to getting in that offense, especially with God when he can get all the underneath stuff, and you know how much Tom Brady loves his underneath.
Completely understand it. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and move on here. Thank you so much again, Chris. We truly appreciate it. The one and only is back on the clock. Juan, who are you talking about?
You know, I've been thinking about it really hard, looking over what to go next. Like I said in the last round, I go skilled positions heavy, and I'm going to have to lean in and go running back in this round, you guys, and I'm breaking one of my own rules, is never draft a rookie in fantasy, but this one's too hard to resist, especially against such a great especially with such a great offensive line to work with, and a quarterback that has been that knows how to deliver the ball to his backs with 17 years of experience. AKA, I'm going with Jonathan Taylor, running back out of Indianapolis.
Wow, there it is. The first rookie off the board. I'm not mad at this pick only because, I think that the Colts need to run the football. I think they get a little too pass happy at times, and I think they understand that now, especially with the aging quarterback. You want to take some pressure off. I like this pick here, Juan. Thanks, man. We truly appreciate it. Gianluca is now on the clock. It's your turn, man. Like it's round 3. These picks are getting slim. Who are you thinking about picking here?
I need a wide receiver. I really don't have one yet. So. I'm deciding between Kenny Galladay or DJ Moore. I like them both a lot this year.
Okay, I understand. So you got 40 seconds left. What do you think? Do you think Kenny Galladay's numbers are going to go up or down having Matthew Stafford? Because Matthew Stafford likes to sling the ball everywhere. Do you think that it's going to be a Calvin Johnson situation where he targets him almost every play? Or do you think Matthew Stafford's going to say, listen, whatever I got to do to win the game, which potentially could see Kenny lose some targets?
You know what? You just sold me. I'm going Kenny Galladay. You're right. Matt Stafford is sling it.
All right, there it is. I mean, Matthew Stafford is perennially throwing 4,000 yards every season, close to 5,000 every season. I mean, the guy can just get it. I mean, he throws 30 touchdowns almost every season. When he's healthy, Matthew Stafford is a very, 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 very consistent quarterback. And with having somebody like Matt Patricia running the defense at this point, you know they're going to be defensive minded. So, and he's never truly had a defense. It's a pretty good pick. So Gianluca does select Kenny Galladay. With that being said, Ray is on the clock. Ray, who are you thinking about taking here?
I'm going to take the running back, James Conner from Pittsburgh.
James Conner, there it is. James Conner is now off the clock. So he's ready to go with James Conner. I'm not mad at the pick. Again, Cooper Kupp is now taken by Darius Riddick. But James Conner, why James Conner here, Ray?
I wanted to make sure I got a decent amount of my second back because, again, I like Aaron Jones, but he's not one of the top 3 or 4 backs. He's in that second tier along with James Conner. So hopefully I'll get the production for both of them.
Understood. Well, thank you so much, Ray. We appreciate it. All right, so again, as I said, Darius does take Cooper Kupp. That's my guy. I've had him in every single draft, every single year for Inside the Hashes. I love Cooper Kupp. Adam Thielen is now taken by the mayor of tacos. Mike takes Adam Thielen here. I'm not mad at this pick. He's going to obviously be the number 1 guy going in for, again, a guy who likes to throw the ball around the field in Kirk Cousins. Is that the reason that you picked him here?
I like Minnesota. I have some Minnesota roots. Half my family's from Minnesota, so I'm going to be watching the games anyway.
Makes sense. I completely understand it. So again, we're going to keep it going. Chris, no. Next up should be Richie. Richie is next on the clock. And while we wait for Richie, Mike, Adam Thielen. Oh, Oh, Mike is gone. All right. Oh, there he is. All right. While we're waiting for Richie, Adam Thielen was debated as whether or not he was the number one over Stephon Diggs. Obviously, there's a rookie next to him now in Justin Jefferson, so we know he's going to be the number one guy. Do you think that bodes well for him, or do you think that teams are going to start keying in on him because of the fact that there's a rookie on the other side?
Have you seen Justin Jefferson? That guy is a monster. He had and a half. That guy's gonna get equal coverage.
Yes, I keep telling people the same thing. I'm like, listen, I know he's a rookie, but the things that this dude, his catch radius is ridiculous. I mean, he's a beast. I think that I'm not saying he's going to be Stephon Diggs because Stephon Diggs is proven in this league, but I think Justin Jefferson has the potential to be very special. I appreciate it, Mike. Good luck to you the rest of the way. Richie is now on the clock. Richie, talk to us about who you're thinking about going with here.
I was gonna go with this guy, but I'm not gonna say his name because I want him with the wraparound. But I gotta get a receiver here.
Okay, well, talk to us. Who are you thinking about getting, man? You got 30 seconds.
You know what? I'm gonna wait on a receiver. I'm going George Kittle.
Oh, George Kittle's off the clock. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
He's basically a receiver. So
there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not mad.
I'm gonna let the next picks decide who my receiver is going to be.
Okay, makes sense. Well, with that being said, Sam obviously was going to pick George Kittle. I know he was. I see it in his eyes. Is that the guy that you were targeting there, Sam?
When he said he was going wide out, that was my plan. I mean, he is a wide out, but he's one of the most fun players to watch in football too. I mean, how could you not love this guy? Mic'd up last year, my favorite moment all year. He goes, run it again after he destroys some guy in a block. Like, that's what you want in your team.
Yes.
He's a player. I mean, he's a baller.
That doesn't really help me, but
no, I think it shows what he's about. And I think he's gonna be a big part of that team. So I think it was a great pick.
Definitely a dog. Definitely a dog. All right, so who are you picking here since he's gone?
I mean, I don't like any of the running backs that are kind of on there right away. I think a lot of them are gonna kind of like split time. So I'm gonna roll with one of my favorite guys. He still is. He was a former New York Giant. I'm gonna draft Odell Beckham Jr.
Sam, you just made me upset because that was literally who I was going to pick next. I'm not mad at the pick. All right, so Odell Beckham Jr. he's falling in people's drafts every year, and it's weird to me because he continues to put numbers up, right? Obviously, he's not putting up the numbers that he was putting up when he was with the Giants. However, you got to think Baker Mayfield is only going to get better potentially. You know, obviously, they're going to run the ball more with Nick Chubb, finding out what they had in Nick Chubb. Jarvis Landry is still a threat. I mean, I just think that Odell Beckham should be taken on a lot higher on draft boards. So I'm not mad at this pick at all. With that being said, show me some running backs here because you know, I got to see here because that was the receiver I was going to take. And obviously I was going to take George Kittle if he fell there.
I mean, the second guy that I was debating was Le'Veon Bell. I mean, both those guys are kind of in the same situation where you're like, they were one of the top guys just a few years ago, and both their teams are improving, like you said, with Baker. So I think it's definitely a thought there. And my worry is with guys like Johnson, Gordon. I don't like Ingram this year with the Dobbins situation. It's a lot of, I don't know,
it's tough.
Time shared.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. To me, honestly, it's between David Johnson because I feel like he has a chip on his shoulder. Le'Veon Bell obviously has a chip on his shoulder. I mean, if you're not following him on Instagram, and if you are following him on Instagram and you're not motivated to get in the gym, something's wrong with you. Le'Veon Bell is a freak. I was thinking about going. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna take a. I made a hot take on Hot Take Thursday on the Aired Out podcast, which airs at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. And I'm going to stick with that hot take. I'm going to take Le'Veon Bell here. I predicted that he was going to be, he was going to re-solidify himself as a top 5 back in this league. I think people forget how good he is catching the football. I think if Sam Darnold can stay healthy, he's going to be phenomenal. With that being said, Chris is on the clock. Chris, talk.
Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was hoping Le'Veon was gonna fall to me, so I might need a few seconds to be able to make this pick real quick.
All right, well, take your time. Sam, who would you take it?
I mean, I don't know if I want to say. I'm on the swing around soon, but I think there's a bunch of receivers still there. Obviously, I don't know if it'd be smart to take a running back here. Obviously, I do like the David Johnson thing. That like you mentioned that, you kind of gave me some thoughts. He's basically a meme. Like this offseason, I feel bad for the guy. They're making fun of him because he got traded for a bag of chips, basically, and now he's in Houston. And I think Deshaun Watson makes players better, and I think he's gonna hold his own there. All right, I think that's
I agree. You got 5 seconds here, Chris. Who do you think? Oh, there it is, David Johnson. Yep, David Johnson.
I took David Johnson.
Okay, so why was it
I
Sam
feel like
that sold you?
I feel like he's gonna be good in that Texas offense.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think that he's probably going to be a pretty good player, right? I mean, his only knock has been the injuries, right? I think once he got injured, and then it took a while for him to get back into his rhythm, and then Kenyon Drake kind of came through and said, "I'm Kenyon Drake," right? And so now it's like a situation where it's just like, all right, well, maybe we should move on from this guy. I like the pick here. So now we're going to go ahead and start round number 4, and you got the first pick, Chris. Who do you think about?
I'm going to take Juju. I like him being the number 1 target for Big Ben, having a comeback year this year. I really look to him to throw the ball deep to Juju and really see him flourish. He's got a quarterback that he can trust instead of Duck Hodges and some other people. So I'm looking for Juju to have a big year.
Wow, Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm not mad at this pick. I think having Ben Roethlisberger back is definitely going to be a factor. This is my second favorite pick of the draft so far. Obviously, number 1 was Todd Gurley. I think that was a phenomenal pick. This is my second favorite. Reason being is, again, Juju Smith-Schuster has his quarterback back. Ben Roethlisberger is known for being able to get the ball to who his guy is. We saw what he did with Antonio Brown. We saw what he did with Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. So I'm excited for that. Now I am on the clock. So give me some. Ooh, this is tough. Go QB here for me. All right. Go running back. Ooh, this is tough. Man, oh man, oh man. Give me wide receiver. This one is tough. All right. I'm so torn right now. Ooh. All right.
What are you between, Avery?
I'm between quarterback and receiver. But I think I'm gonna go quarterback, and I think I'm gonna go with a guy that he's gonna probably get you some rushing yards. We obviously know he's probably gonna sling the ball around. He doesn't have his number 1 guy anymore, but he's still a threat to run the football. I'm gonna go with Deshaun Watson. I think he's gonna have a pretty good season. I think because of the fact that he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins anymore, he might be forced to run more, which means we might see more rushing touchdowns, which means we might see more rushing yards. So that's what I would like to see. So with that being said, we're gonna keep it moving. Sam, you're on the clock. Talk to us.
So I think I'm leaning receiver again. I don't think it's worth taking a tight end now. It's kind of in like a weird middle phase where you're not getting Kittle and Kelsey, so I don't think any of those guys have an impact. The wide receiver and some of the wideouts still on the board are phenomenal players. I mean, and I'm going to end up taking DJ Moore here. I like what Carolina did in the offseason. They brought in Matt Rule. I like that Joe Brady is offensive coordinator. We see LSU receivers turn into beast all the time, so I'm hoping he could bring some of that to Carolina. Teddy should only make the wideouts a little bit better there. He was playing with Kyle Allen, Cam Newton, pretty much whatever they could find last year. Still had, I think, probably at least above 80 catches. Definitely had 1,000 yards. Hopefully he could score a little bit more this year, but I think that kind of balances my team right there.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think you made the perfect word right there. It balances your team right now. I think you have a balanced team at this point so far. All right, so we're going to keep it moving. So we're going to go ahead and go back and bring Richie back in. Richie, you are now on the clock. Again, we're in round 4. Richie, who are you thinking about taking here? So far, you've got Patrick Mahomes, Nick Chubb, George Kittle. You've got a lot of splash names. Now these are the rounds where you got to be mindful of who you're picking. You got to be strategic. Who are you thinking about taking here?
So, Sam, when you took DJ Moore, I was able to breathe because I thought you were going to take 2 guys that I wanted in 2 straight rounds. So I was a little lenient with this guy, but you know what? He's going to get his even with all the receivers they have. And I'm going to say my answer right now, even with drafting CeeDee Lamb. So I'm taking Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, receivers off the clock. I'm not mad at this pick. I think it's a consistent pick, a consistent guy. In the regular season, I don't know how well he's going to do against premier teams, but we'll see moving into the season. We're going to keep it moving and bring in the mayor of tacos to make his next pick. Mike, I see you made a face. When he drafted Amari Cooper, did you not like the pick, or
no,
is this a guy that you wanted?
No, come on, former Raider who I was happy to see him leave. I'm glad he's gone, and now I got the best receiver on the Raiders now, or tight end, or whatever they're calling him. So I'm pumped. I knew this is probably a reach, but I knew he wasn't going to be there, in 16 picks from now. So.
I understand that Darren Waller is the next Raider. So you got 2 Raiders on your roster. I'm not mad at it. Darren Waller is a really good tight end. I think people really sleep on his athleticism, right? He obviously needs to develop more as a blocker, but again, blocking in fantasy doesn't get me points. So I'm not mad at it. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and keep it moving. It looks like Darius is on the clock. Maybe Darius has joined in because he hasn't made the pick just yet. And before, those picks were coming in pretty rapidly. It looked like he was auto-drafting. So while we're waiting to see if Darius is actually in the chat, Mike, you took Darren Waller. What made you take Darren Waller instead of, let's say, Zach Ertz?
That speed and the fact that the other 2 players on the outside are going to be deep threats, like Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards are going to be opening the field up for Jacobs and Waller more than Waller and Jacobs are going to be allowing them to, bust off deep. So
gotcha.
I'm excited about it.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All right. So Darius took Tyler Lockett. So the Seahawks receiver, I think Tyler Lockett is a very good pick. I mean, the guy is extremely consistent. He reminds me of Doug Baldwin. He does not get the credit and the respect that he deserves. He just is consistent, catches the ball, and does what he does. Ray is now on the clock. Ray, talk to us about who you're going to pick here.
You know what? I'm going to take Mark Andrews from Baltimore.
Oh, Mark Andrews, tight end from Baltimore, is now off the clock. Ray, what goes into your pick here?
I mean, I think I see some decent receivers still, but a lot of them are like the same production type of guys. I really think there's one more tight end after Waller was taken, and Andrews. There's one more guy that's like that first tier of guys, and then after that, everybody's a little bit of a drop off. So I wanted to make sure I got one of them guys.
I completely understand. Well, thank you so much, Ray. We're going to go ahead and keep it moving. Gianluca, you are now on the clock. Who are you thinking about taking here again in round 4?
For me, this is an easy pick for me. I love this dude. I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, that is my guy right there. I love Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley, without question, is the best complement receiver in the NFL. I don't think there is a better complement receiver in the NFL, period. I think he's the best number 2 wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, look at the numbers that the guy puts up, right? I mean, close to 1,000 yards. I mean, close to double-digit touchdowns, and he's only going into his 3rd year. This is going to be a pretty good year for him. I'm not mad at the pick. Gianluca, great pick. This is my 3rd favorite pick of the draft. With that being said, we're going to bring in the one and only Juan Tom Bomb himself. Juan, who are you taking in?
Well, the Patriots fan, Darius took my pick for round 3. which was Tyler Lockett. So I'm going to go with Lockett's counterpart, DK Metcalf.
Excellent pick. I'm actually upset. That was the guy I was hoping would stay around in the 5th round because I was going to take him if nobody did. So I'm not mad at that. I think DK Metcalf is going to have a phenomenal year. We saw him get, I believe, was it 8 or was it double-digit touchdowns? I think it was 8, but he did phenomenal. He got 1,000 yards easily. I mean, it was a silent 1,000 yards as well. I think he's got to shore up his hands more, dropped a lot of passes, but I think he's going to be phenomenal. So thank you, Juan. Appreciate it. Now it's Mr. Big Trust himself. Mr. Big Trust. You've got Lamar Jackson. You've got Todd Gurley. You've got Chris Godwin. So you've got 2 guys who you know who can run the ball, and then you got 2 guys who can catch the ball. And Todd Gurley and Chris Godwin, because Todd Gurley is both. So
right
who
now,
are you thinking about?
Juan is killing me. Darius, y'all killing me. Y'all killing me. I play with this y'all in my league in my Madden, and y'all just take both of my starters. Like,
well, you know the Aired Out podcast gotta throw some shade on you a little bit, Mr. Big Trust. Who are you taking there right here?
Man, listen, honestly, I think I'm gonna go running back with this one, and I'm gonna go with someone that I don't think a lot of people think too much of right now. I am going
Cam Akers. Wow.
Akers for the Rams. The Rams will have a pretty decent offense this year. And Cam Akers should be able to step right into that Todd Gurley role a little bit better than I believe it was Darrell Henderson. And I really like what I've seen from Cam Akers so far. So,
all right, cool. I completely understand it. All right, so now who is on the clock is Mr. Chris Thomas himself, the beard. Fear the beard, ladies and gentlemen. Chris got a beard like a billy goat. Chris, you're on the clock. Who are you thinking about taking?
Well, I'm not in love with any of these running backs right now, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to pick a wide receiver, and I'm going to go Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson. Listen, Allen Robinson again. Now, so this is my 4th favorite pick. This guy is so underrated. I mean, you're talking about consistent hands, probably some of the best in the league. Great route runner. I think this is a phenomenal pick here. I think he's such an underrated pick. Chris, I think he's going to pan out well for you. So we're back to the guy who started everything off, and Micah. Micah, you are now on the clock. You've got back-to-backs, right? So it's end of round 4, and then you got the first pick in round 5. So when we go into round 5, ladies and gentlemen, you will only have 30 seconds. So you have 60 seconds now, starting now for the 4th round. Michael, who you got?
I got to take a receiver, Keenan Allen. He just got paid yesterday, so hopefully he plays like it.
Okay. Keenan Allen. I'm not mad at this. I mean, you're talking about one of the best route runners in the league, if not the best route runner in the league. Obviously, he's going to get targeted no matter who's the quarterback, whether it's Justin Herbert or Tyrod Taylor. We know Tyrod Taylor was named the starter. You got to have that safety blanket, and Keenan Allen is that guy. He, I believe, was the number 3 targeted wide receiver on 3rd down in the league last year behind Julio Jones and I believe DeAndre Hopkins. So I completely understand it. Micah, now 30 seconds starts now, round 5. Who are you taking here?
I'm trying to just fill out my team here. I got to go. I'm going to go with tight end this time.
Zach Ertz. That's not a bad pick. I'm surprised that he went this low. I think that Zach Ertz has been consistent the last 6 years, especially in fantasy. So I'm not mad at the pick at all. So we're going to keep it moving. Chris, you got 30 seconds starting now. Who are you thinking about taking, baby?
I think Sam's going to like this pick.
Yeah,
Evan Ingram. Oh, man, I wanted Evan Ingram so
yeah, that was my next pick.
Not mad at that pick. That's it. Chris is doing it. I just want to say that Chris is doing an excellent job drafting right now. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move on and bring him back, Mr. Big Trust himself. You got 30 seconds. Oh, wow. He did not wait. He got Stephon Diggs. Okay, so I got to take a pause here. Stephon Diggs is not in the offense with Kirk Cousins anymore. He's got Josh Allen, and we know that Josh Allen isn't throwing the ball like Kirk. Why did you take Stephon here?
Simple. Deep passes. What did Stephon Diggs kill everyone in last year with Kirk Cousins? And that's not a guy with the known biggest arm. You see what he did last year? If Josh Allen can get at least somewhat accurate, I got Stephon Diggs for coming down with that pass. Easy.
Completely understand. All right.
With him.
Okay, listen, I understand it. I understand it, and I'm not mad at the pick. I'm just leery. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to Juan. Juan, who are you gonna take here?
Again, real tough choice. Not a lot of great options, but not a lot of like terrible options, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go with my gut, with someone who I feel is a reliable target and has a gunslinger for a quarterback I drafted from this team already. I am going with T.Y. Hilton out of Indianapolis.
That's a great pick. I think this is a phenomenal pick here. You got a guy who in Phillip Rivers loves to sling the ball around. T.Y. Hilton, if he's healthy, is potentially a top 10 receiver. Not mad at that pick. This is my sixth favorite pick of the draft. All right, so we're going to keep it moving and bring in John Luca. John Luca, 30 seconds starting now. Who you got?
All right. I'm a true believer in Gardner Minshew, so I got to take his best guy here, DJ Chark.
Wow. Okay, I like that pick. I think DJ Chark is another Allen Robinson, right? He doesn't get a lot of recognition, but he is a very solid player. I'm not mad at that pick. Was there anybody else that you were thinking over him?
I was thinking Mark Ingram because I don't have many running backs right now, but I really like Minshew, so I just want to get his best guy.
Not mad at it all. Not mad at it all. Okay, so we're going to keep it moving. We're going to go ahead and bring back in Ray. Ray, it's round 5, and you got 30 seconds. Who you taking here?
I'm taking Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker. Wow, that's a pretty good pick, man. I think the sketchiness for Devontae Parker, or the reservation that people have for Devontae Parker, is the fact that he just came out of nowhere, right? He's been in the league for 6 or 7 years now, and he just had his best season ever. Looks like Ray's having some technical difficulties. But with that being said, like I said, I think that it was an excellent pick. I think Devontae Parker is going to do well. With that said, the Mayor of Tacos is now on the clock. You got 30 seconds, Mike. Who are you thinking about selecting here?
That was my pick, man. I'm so sad about this.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, Devontae Parker does go to Ray. So you got 20 seconds left. Who are you thinking about taking?
All right, I'm going Scary Terry. Oh, that was my pick, though, Devontae Parker.
McLaurin. I'm not mad at this pick, though. I'm not mad at this pick. He's the number one pick the number one receiver on the Washington football team's offense. Obviously he's young. You got Dwayne Haskins, so it could be a match made in heaven.
They'll be behind a lot in games, so
this is true. This is true. So I'm not mad at the pick. I'm just reserved with who he has throwing in the ball. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring Richie in. Richie, you are on the clock. You got 30 seconds starting now.
I really thought you guys were going to forget about Courtland Sutton for a second. Okay.
It's like he has been forgotten. Excuse me. Darius did take Courtland Sutton. I did not see that again. Darius is auto drafting or something. Courtland Sutton is off the board. So who are you thinking about taking here, Richie?
I only got 30 seconds, right?
You've got 15 now.
Okay. I'm a little nervous with this pick, but I'm taking Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon. Listen, I think this is actually very solid pick. I know
I'm very nervous with this pick.
Listen, you should be nervous, right? But I think it's a solid pick because when Gordon is on the field, he does produce. It took him a while to get his legs underneath him after missing the first 4 games of the season last year. But once he got his legs underneath him, he started to continue to produce. Jerome, it can attest to that because of the fact that he had him on his roster. So I think that it's a decent pick here. I do think, I understand the nervousness, potentially splitting time with him and Philip Lindsay and different things like that. So, all right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and give it up to Sam. Sam, you're on the clock. Who are you thinking about taking here, man?
I'm going to take Hollywood Brown here. Hopefully I get Big Trust's approval there. But I think I heard 20 pounds of muscle is added. That's an elite offense, and I think Lamar, they're going to test Lamar to throw the ball a little bit more this year. That's obviously like the only you can't even probably say that's a weakness, but they're going to test his arm strength. I think he's going to rise up to that challenge, and that's going to be the number one wideout, and he's going to have to produce for that offense to get past a team like the Chiefs late in the year.
Completely understand. I'm not mad at the pick. So I am now on the clock. I've got 30 seconds. Jerome, I think I need to round my team out now. I've got 2 running backs. I got 1 wide receiver, and I've got a quarterback. I need to round my team out a little bit here. So show me the tight ends. I think I already know who I'm going to take, and I am going to take them. I was going to be a homer and take Hayden Hurst, but I'm going to go Rob Gronkowski. Obviously, I'm nervous about this pick as well. But I think that, the reunion with him and Tom Brady, obviously that's his favorite target. Let's say things don't work out with, Tom Brady and Chris Godwin or Mike Evans or something like that because, he likes to, throw the ball short and dip and dunk and different things like that. And let's say they're not doing enough. He's obviously going to go to a safety blanket and Rob Gronkowski. And as long as he can stay healthy, he's proven that he's one of, if not the best tight end in the NFL. So with that being said, we're going to end round 5 with none other than my man, Chris. Chris, you are on the clock. You got 30 seconds starting now.
I'm going to take A.J. Brown here. I think he's going to be a breakout this year in that offense, especially with Derrick Henry too.
Okay, I'm not mad at the pick. All right, round 5 is officially over. A.J. Brown was the last pick of round 5. We're moving into round 6. Again, we're going to keep this thing moving. The first pick of round 6, Chris, who you got?
I'm going to go tight end too. I'm going to take Hayden Hurst here. I think he's going to be. I think he's finally going to get a chance to flourish in an offense. And not be the second fiddle. I think with Hooper being gone, I think it really opens up the tight end spot for Hurst, especially with the weapons they already have.
I'm not mad at the pick. I wanted to take Hayden Hurst because, obviously, like I said, I wanted to be a homer. But like I said, just got to go with, the guy who has proven himself more. They're both shaky, right? One hasn't proven himself. The other one's coming off retirement. So they're both shaky, but I just want to go with the guy who has at least shown me in the past when he is on the field, he's consistent. So I like that pick. With that being said, I need another receiver. So Jerome, he already knows this. He's already on the receivers. I'm going to go with my man. This one is tough because he had. All right, hold on. Let me think about this. Dear God, I'm gonna take a chance on this guy. I think if he can stay healthy, he's going to be one of the top guys in the league. And I'm going to go AJ Green. I want to take AJ Green here. I need a receiver. I wanted to go with another choice, but I think he'll be there later in rounds, so I'll stick with that. AJ Green is going to be my pick. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and go to Sam. Sam, who you got in the 6th round?
It's a tough spot. I'm debating here. My team is pretty balanced for the most part, so I think I could get creative here with my pick. I'm going to take Kareem Hunt. Why not? I think there's a chance he plays a lot this year for some reason. And his production wasn't even bad last year, considering that Nick Chubb was getting a lot of the work. And I just think a guy like that will find his place in the football field. And hopefully in a PPR league, he'll be able to be a kind of plug-and-play player. And if Nick Chubb goes down, it probably makes him top 7 back in the league.
I'm not mad at the pick. I think obviously he's going to be the 3rd down guy, right? He came in on 3rd down. He's going to get his touches. He's going to get catches. And like you said, to give Nick Chubb a spell, obviously he can break one at any point. He's still productive. So I'm not mad at this pick. With that being said, we're going to bring Richie back on the clock. You have 30 seconds starting now. Who you taking here? Boom. He didn't even wait. Tyler Boyd, receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not mad at it. He took the counterpart to AJ Green. I'm not mad. The mayor of tacos takes Tom Brady, the quarterback. Wow, he took Tom Brady and not Derek Carr. Very shocking, but okay, so Tyler Boyd is off the clock. Thank you so much, Richie. The mayor of tacos does take Tom Brady. Tom Brady over Derek Carr. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look at his weapons and then look at the running back situation. I mean, I know they just picked up Fournette, but there's just not a lot there. And then he's got all these crazy weapons, so I'm going for Tom Brady. Plus, I wanted to watch the Buccaneers game with more interest, so I'm in.
Listen, I completely understand it. All right, so with that being said, we've got Dak Prescott was the next quarterback taken by Darius. Ray, you are on the clock. You got 30 seconds. Talk to us.
I'm going to take Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram. I'm not mad at this pick. I think people are maybe overrating the J.K. Dobbins acquisition. Mark Ingram is still a very, very solid back, and he's shown that he can get the job done. I mean, he's shown also that he's capable of flourishing in a two-back system. So I'm not mad at the pick. We're going to go ahead and move on to John Luca. John Luca, who you got?
Hey, so I've been hearing a lot of hype. I'm going to take the guy right next to Mark Ingram. Give me J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. I'm not mad at that at all. Okay, so J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram, teammates go back to back. Why J.K. Dobbins here?
I've been hearing like he's electric in camp. They spent a high draft pick on him. I'm liking him.
Okay, listen, I completely understand it. I'm not mad at it at all. I think he has potential to get some touches, but I still think Mark is going to be the starter. All right, Juan, you are now on the clock. 30 seconds starting now. Who you taking, man? You are muted, Juan. Just want to let you know. You want to unmute yourself there. That's the one and only, yo.
Right, I have to look for tight end options, and there's a lot of good young talent to scout. And I've been hearing a lot about this young man, especially now that there is a healthy Matt Stafford back in the lineup. I'm going T.J. Hawkinson out of Detroit.
I like this pick, man. I think T.J. Hawkinson is a very, again, underrated pick. Not a bad pick here. And I think, again, with Matthew Stafford coming back, I think that bodes well for TJ. All right, so Big Trust is back on the clock. Who are you thinking about taking him, man?
All right. You know what? I'm going to trust my gut on this one. I want to wait, really, but I'm going to trust my gut.
That's Leonard Fournette. Wow, Leonard Fournette is taking off the board. Not mad at the pick. I think Leonard Fournette has potential.
You got to think about it. He's with Tom Brady now. He has weapons around him, so he's not the main guy. And when he needs to be dumped off to, which Tom Brady loves to do, he has the ability to catch it out the backfield.
I understand that, and I completely understand the pick. However, let's not forget that Shady McCoy is there. With that being said, Chris Thomas is now on the clock. Chris, you got 30 seconds. Who do you think about taking here, man? You're muted, by the way.
I gotta get another running back. So I know this is potentially a reach, but I'm gonna trust my gut on this.
Boom, Antonio Gibson. I'm not mad at this pick. I actually have him in another draft of mine as well. I think that he's going to have a very, very solid year. Here's my predictions for Antonio Gibson. Miles Sanders rookie season. I'm just going to be completely honest. I think he's going to have that type of season where he has over 1,500 all-purpose yards and just does good things for that team. So I'm not mad at that pick at all. Micah, it's your turn. It looks like you're getting some shopping done, but you're multitasking. You got the mask off. Okay, mask off. Micah is on the clock. You got 30 seconds. Who you taking?
This is my fourth different location, I think. I want to wait for a QB, but I can't. I got to take one now. I don't like waiting because they usually get off the board right before I want one. So I'm trust my gut and go with Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. I mean, can you find a worse pick, right? Like he's such a great pick right here, right? He's so consistent. Matt Ryan is consistently going to get you over 4,000 yards. He's going to consistently throw 25 plus touchdowns, all of those different things, right? And he's got Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Hayden Hurst and all these weapons. I mean, it's literally set up for him to have a phenomenal MVP type season. So I'm not mad at the pick. We're going to move right into round 7. After this round, guys, I just want to let you know, after this round, we're probably not going to do the interviews. It's probably just going to be the picks. unless you do something that blows my mind and I need to bring you on. All right. So after round 7, just giving you guys a heads up. Mikey, you're on the clock. You got 30 seconds. The first pick in round 1 goes to who?
All right. Cam Newton's got to throw to somebody.
Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman. That's not a bad pick. I like the pick. Obviously, with Mohamed Sanu not being there, you got to have the guy that's going to be your go-to. Obviously, him and Julian Edelman have built a good chemistry this off season. I thought Mohamed Sanu would be that guy because Mohamed Sanu was the first guy to reach out to him and work out with him, but obviously he got cut, so I'm not mad at it. All right, so Chris is on the clock. You got 30 seconds. Who are you taking here?
I'm surprised he fell this far, so I could just put him on my bench for a few weeks, and once he comes back healthy, it's going to be a lot.
David Montgomery. I'm not mad at this pick. I like David Montgomery, but again, the injury stuff is scary for me. But like you said, if he can be on your bench and just sit there for a little, he could potentially come in and play well. Jarvis Landry was the next pick by Mr. Big Trust himself. I'm not mad at that pick. Jarvis goes off the board here, and it's a solid pick. So nothing I need to say. We're going to go ahead and move on and bring in the one and only Mr. Juan Tombaum himself. Juan, you got 30 seconds on the clock. You are muted. Just want to let you know. Talk to us about you, who you're thinking about taking in.
Like Devin Singletary out of Buffalo.
Devin Singletary, not a bad pick. I mean, I believe he's going to be the starter again this year. So you get a starting running back this late in the draft. That's not bad at all. I think it's a solid, very solid pick. They're a team that wants to run the ball first, obviously, and play solid defense. So I'm not mad at this pick. We're going to go ahead and keep it moving. John Luca is now on the clock. You got 30 seconds. Talk to me, brother.
Hey, I need some running backs, so I'm going to take Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert, again, another pick that is very, very solid, right? He's projected to be the starting running back going into the season this year for the 49ers, and he just got paid, so you would think he's going to be that guy. So I'm not mad at the pick. Again, another starting running back in the 7th round. Excellent pick, John Luca. Ray, you are now on the clock. Just want to let you know you're muted, but you got 30 seconds. Who are you taking in here?
You know what?
Brees.
I'm going to take Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, another quarterback taken off the board. Again, another quarterback who's just, I mean, outside of, guys like Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, and different things like that, these are the type of guys where it's like you can't really miss with them. They're going to do their thing. So he goes on ahead and selects Drew Brees, and I'm not mad at the pick. So, Ray, excellent pick. Talk to me about why you took, Drew Brees with that pick.
I mean, I wanted to just make sure I got a top flight quarterback. There were a couple guys I could take, and I just went for the most consistent guy. That's all.
Makes sense. All right, thank you so much. All right, so Darius did go and take Austin Hooper, the tight end, the new addition for Baker Mayfield. Not mad at the pick. With that being said, then the mayor of tacos does take Philip Lindsay. I think this is a very good pick as well. Philip Lindsay this late in the draft. A guy, I think they're going to split time, and I think Philip Lindsay, with adding on 10 pounds, might end up being the starter. So I'm not mad at the pick, Mike. Excellent pick here. Then Brandon Cooks goes off the board to Richie. Richie did a phenomenal job picking Brandon Cooks. I think that was a pretty good pick here. Obviously, the Texans do not have Deshaun Watson anymore, so they're going to have to throw it to somebody. Brandon Cooks is the speedster, so I'm not mad at the pick. Why'd you take Brandon? As opposed to Will.
Oh, well, Will will be hurt by play 3. So they're both hurt a lot, let's be honest. But you're right. With Hopkins gone, Cooks he's been like, I don't want to say overrated, but he hasn't lived up to what everyone thought he was going to be. But he's still a deep threat. He's still a reliable receiver. So he was the best guy I thought that was available. I didn't love any of the running backs. I was just doing some work on DeAndre Swift. I don't know, with Adrian Peterson there now. So I went with Cooks. That's kind of like took me there.
Gotcha. I'm not mad at it at all. All right, so on the clock is my man Sam, my co-host. Sam, who you think about taking there, baby?
I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb, not a bad pick.
I feel like the risk is worth taking here. Dak needs to prove some people wrong, and I think he's going to need guys like that to step up and help him. I don't think Lamb's going to get that many targets to start the year, but I think through like week 6, week 7, he's going to overtake that number 2 spot from Gallup. I love Gallup too, don't get me wrong, but I just think Lamb's got so much natural talent that it's going to show somehow.
Understood. All right, so I need another running back. So show me the running backs here. I think I only have one. Am I correct? No, I've got 2. I need a receiver. I need another receiver. That's what I need. I need another receiver. Show me the receivers here. Yeah, this is tough. Running back or receiver, honestly. That's tough. I'm going to go with Robert Woods. I think I want to go with Robert Woods here. It's somebody that Jared Goff does trust, and so I'm going to go ahead and go with him. I'm not mad at that pick. So we're going to end the 7th round with Chris. Chris, talk to me.
I'm gonna make the pick right here at number 12, and I think I'm gonna surprise some people at the first pick in the 8th round. So I'm gonna take Kyler Murray right now, and you guys will have to see what the pick is in the 8th round.
All right, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I think it's a pretty solid pick. Obviously, you get a quarterback who can run the football, who can throw the football. He's got weapons, so not mad at that pick at all. All right, so like I said, we're going to start speeding things up. We're just going to start making the picks. We'll talk about them and different things like that. However, like I said, be mindful. I might call you in to kind of talk about your pick. If I bring somebody in to talk about their pick and you're the one that's on the clock, continue making your picks. It's fine. I just want to talk about that specific pick. So with that being said, we started the 8th round off with Aaron Rodgers, 2 quarterbacks back to back. That is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. I've got to bring him back on. I got to bring Chris back on. Chris, why 2 quarterbacks back to back? Talk to me.
Well, first of all, I didn't think Kyler Murray was really going to fall to me at the end of the 7th round, so I had to take him. But I like Aaron Rodgers because I got the connection with Devontae Adams. And if a quarterback goes down on someone's team, someone's going to need a quarterback.
Makes sense. Okay, so trade bait and the fact that it's potential for some points there. I get it. All right, so the next pick is for me. I'm going to select, if Jerome will show me who I got available to me. All right, I've got a quarterback. I've got 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. 3 wide receivers, a tight end. Let me get some. Let's go. Show me the running backs here. All righty. Tough. This is tough. You know what? There's talks about this guy being potentially the starter in Detroit, so let's go ahead and draft DeAndre Swift here. I believe this is my first rookie that I've taken. I'm like you, Sam. I don't, tend to take too many rookies. You kind of got to prove yourself. But I think DeAndre Swift, if he's going to be the starting running back, again, 8th round potential starting running back, you kind of got to take him. And he can catch the ball at the backfield. So you're on the clock. Who do you think about taking here?
I'm going to take James White just from the fact that I think Cam loves his running backs out of the backfield throwing the football. In a PPR league, I think James White's a decent pick on anybody's team. He's not really a guy that you're like, why would I have him on my roster? He's a useful flex play. When injuries happen, he's a good plug player.
Gotcha. I completely understand that. I'm not mad at that at all. James White is, again, a solid player. He can catch the ball at the backfield. He can run the ball between the tackles. And, it should be interesting to see. Obviously, like you said, with Cam under center, it's going to be very interesting. Then we have Marvin Jones Jr. going after that. Again, very solid pick. And with Matthew Stafford being back, you got to think the guy is going to get some targets. And then Henry Ruggs III goes to Mayor of Tacos. He's got a lot of Raiders players. He's a Raiders faithful. I'm not mad at it. Henry Ruggs could potentially have a Tyreek Hill type of impact. A defense was now taken by Darius Riddick. And not only was a defense taken, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I think it took the Steelers defense because of the interceptions that they had last year, but it's potential. Yeah, I just don't see why taking a defense here is the smart move. But Ray, you're on the clock, and I just want to talk to you and see what's on your mind here. Talk to us. What are you thinking about taking? Who are you thinking about taking?
Well, I'm thinking wide receiver. I think I'm going to take Michael Gallup.
Michael Gallup, again, another good pick. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper are already taken off the board. Michael Gallup is not a bad pick, and I'm not mad at it at all. I think that if CeeDee Lamb is still quote unquote a rookie, right, where he has that learning curve, obviously Michael Gallup is going to continue to emerge and be that solid, solid blanket and second guy for Dak Prescott. With that being said, Ronald Jones, third, comes off the board after Michael Gallup to Mr. Luka. Not a bad pick. I think, again, I'm not sure if Leonard Fournette is going to be the starter. So taking Ronald Jones here is not a bad pick because he's been projected as the starter of the entire camp. And Leonard Fournette it's going to take him a while to learn the offense, right? Obviously people think it's just running the football, but you got to learn the blocking schemes. You got to learn, all of these different things. And with Tom Brady, we all know that Tom Brady's offenses are intricate. Then Matthew Stafford comes off the board next. I'm not mad at that. That's to Juan. And then Mr. Big Trust himself goes and takes Hunter Henry for the Chargers. That's not a bad pick as well. I think, obviously, we saw that Tyrod Taylor made Clay in Buffalo look like an all-star. So, obviously, he loves throwing the tight ends. So, I think Hunter Henry, if being healthy, could potentially be good. Sam, talk to me about these next couple picks, man.
Yeah, I like the Hunter Henry pick for sure. I mean, the injury bugs kind of rattled him the last couple of years, but when he's been on the field, he's been effective, and he's a quality red zone target. He's a big guy. Tough Arkansas kid that can run a bunch of different routes to tight end, blocks well. He's going to be on the field. Noah Fant's also right after. That stinks. So I need a tight end too, and that's the one I was planning on. I really like his build. It's kind of like a basketball player type of build. You know what I mean? He's got the speed, and he's got that acceleration where he can run after catch, but I think his body's going to allow him to go up and get some footballs for Drew Lock this fall, hopefully.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't agree more. I think Noah Fant is great. He is an ITH alum. We got a chance to interview him. And so while we're waiting for Micah to make his pick, we're going to talk about that, right? We want everybody to enjoy this fantasy football that we are giving you guys. However, again, please go ahead and check out the website at www.insidethashes.com. Don't forget to follow us on all your social media platforms, Twitter at Inside Hashes, Instagram at Inside the Hashes, and on Facebook at Inside the Hashes. If you want to talk football, just join the Inside the Hashes Pro Football Talk on football. We truly appreciate you guys. Don't forget to listen to the interviews on all of your streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, different things like that. So with that being said, Micah does go ahead and take Marlon Mack, running back for the Colts. I don't not like this pick. However, Marlon Mack last year was so underwhelming. It was so frustrating. I think he's one of those guys who has so much potential, but he just kind of underperforms sometimes. Is that a fair assessment, Sam?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think a lot of people are expecting a lot of Jonathan Taylor early, and I think it might take him a while to kind of emerge as that guy. So I think Mack's still gonna get a couple carries, but I think Taylor's gonna take over by midseason. And I don't think Mack's gonna be an afterthought. Oh, I love that Deontay Johnson pick right there. Same with Sanders too, man. Those are two shifty guys that might catch a lot of balls and play well in PPR leagues.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the Deontay Johnson pick is probably underrated. Obviously, there's got to be a second guy to a Juju, right? So that makes sense. And then obviously Emmanuel Sanders, I mean, the guy just consistently runs routes well and catches the football. It doesn't matter what team he's on, he just performs well. And then Justin Jefferson, the rookie, comes off the board to Mr. Big Trust himself Actually, I was going to go with Justin Jefferson. I really like the guy. I was going to try to get him in a very much later round, but obviously, Mr. Big Trust sees something in him that bodes for him taking him there. So, what do you think about Justin Jefferson coming off the board this early?
I think it's just a bit early. I mean, I like the player, but there's a lot of guys out there that have played in the league and are proven one or two guys. I think some offenses are being underrated. There goes Jerry Jeudy. So I would have probably taken Jeudy over Jefferson. It's very close, but I can see where Jefferson's taken there. It's a high risk. But also their ceiling's great. There goes Wentz.
It's a high risk, high reward with Justin Jefferson. I think the reason that he took Justin Jefferson over a guy like Jerry Jeudy is the fact that Kirk Cousins is known to throw the ball over the field. Drew Lock is still, we got to see how he truly plays. Obviously, he did well the second half of the season when he came back from injury. But obviously, like I said, Kirk has proven that he's going to throw the ball. Carson Wentz comes off the board. Now, Ray is on the clock. Ray, talk to us about who you're thinking about taking here. We're in round 9.
You know what? I am just still kind of looking over who's here right now. You know what? I'm going to take Tariq Cohen.
Okay, Tariq Cohen, not a bad pick. Again, somebody who is kind of like an afterthought for some reason, right? With Montgomery being hurt, obviously you're thinking that Tyreek Hill is going to get a lot more touches in the meantime until he comes back, right? And then he's a gadget player who gets return yardage and receiving yardage as well. So he potentially, if he stays healthy, could play extremely well in for Chicago. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. I'm not mad at the Tariq Cohen pick. I tend to steer away from guys who can't solidify a starting job, right? Obviously they let go of Jordan Howard, so it looked like it was going to be Tariq Cohen and Montgomery moving forward. But it looked like Montgomery took the starting job from Tariq, and again he ended up becoming an afterthought in some ways. So Darius is on the clock. We're waiting for Darius's pick. Is there any pick so far in this draft, Sam, that you said, "Ew, I would not have done that"?
I was a little confused by the defense going in. What was that? Round 8. Especially the Steelers. I mean, I don't think there's any defenses that are worth taking over some of these players that are still there. I mean, if you look at the wide receivers, there's like 5 or 6 guys that are going to have main, like, I'm going to take one right here. This is a homer pick, but I'm going to take Sterling Shepard. I love this kid. He's really flashy. He's fun to watch, and he plays hard. He's a small kid, but he's got a lot of heart and takes some crazy hits. So he's just someone that you root for. And I think if he could just stay healthy for one season, he's gonna have over 1,000 yards, and I think he could be in a line and be a good wide receiver too, flex play.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a solid pick there. While you were speaking, I believe Josh Allen came off the board. Sterling Shepard. I can't remember the other guy right before that. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take who I was going to probably take before the guy I took last round. I'm going to take Will Fuller here. Obviously, we know that he's got an injury history. But again, if he can stay healthy, he's probably going to be the number one option for Deshaun Watson. He knows the offense. He knows they have a rhythm and a chemistry. And if he can stay healthy, he's probably going to be the number one guy. Zach Moss was the guy, the running back that was taken prior to Sterling Shepard. Then we had Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel was a very, very good pick here. I'm actually surprised Deebo went this low or stayed on the draft board until this time.
And he was having a great Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember that, but
yeah.
If the Niners won that game, that was my Super Bowl MVP. I mean, it was a weird game, and I don't know what he had, but there was a lot. Oh man,
exactly. You just saw it. Did you just see what just really?
Yeah,
early
threw me off. I thought it was just a Raven, and then I saw Tucker.
Like what, Chris? I need to know, man. I gotta know, dude.
And every single team I've ever had, including my 2 championship teams in my other league, I have had Justin Tucker as my kicker. So I was going to take him no matter what. He is the best kicker in the league. Mr. 100. You know, put him up against any kicker. He'll get you more points than most of your flexes. I'm glad I got him.
You know what? I can't look at Chris's face anymore. Get him off my screen. This guy took a kicker. Oh my goodness. I get it. He's the best kicker, but let me see who I got here available to me. I'm going to take Jordan Howard here. I think Jordan Howard has the potential to, get some touches down in Miami now, correct? He's in Miami. I think that hopefully he can solidify himself as the guy, the workhorse guy. I mean, he's done that on every team he's played for. In Chicago and Philly, he's let everybody know, give me the rock, get my feet and my legs going, and let's get busy. With that, after that, Sam takes Mike Gesicki. Not a bad pick. Talk to me about Mike. Why Mike? Why Mike?
I don't know. It's a Happy Valley pick. I'm just feeling a little bit, but
Okay.
at the same time, I think they got a bunch of weapons, so I think he'll be able to kind of stretch the field out. And if Preston Williams and Parker could kind of hold their own, the middle might open up for Gesicki. And I think Tua, once Tua begins to play, he's going to try to just spread the ball over the place, run outside the pocket. I think he might open doors for different wideouts and targets there in Miami.
All right, makes sense. All right, 2 Miami Dolphins back to back, and then we had Tevin Coleman come off the board. Tevin Coleman pick, I think, is a really solid pick right here. I think that Tevin is somebody who, again, when he's healthy and getting consistent touches, he produces. He's one of those guys that you kind of got to get going though. And once he hits that hole, man, is he hard to catch. I mean, there's not too many guys in the league that's going to chase him down. So Mike is on the clock. He does take a defense here. He takes the San Francisco 49ers. Again, these defenses and kickers being taken right here, I'm very shocked. Will Lutz is now off the board. So we got defense and kickers and things coming off the board now in round 10. Jerome, shoot me a reminder in the chat of how many rounds we have in this draft, because I want to make sure I'm not tripping. It's 18 rounds. Okay, so in round 10, we're seeing defenses and kickers. Wow. Ray, you're on the clock. Talk to us.
You know what? I'm going to double up. I'm going to take Matt Breida.
All right, Matt Breida. So we've got Tariq Cohen and Matt Breida, the 2 running backs for Ray. So not mad at it at all. I think Matt Breida, again, if he's healthy, he probably will get the second most touches, on his team. I don't know if he's going to be the starter. I think Jordan Howard is going to be the starter down there. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, if Matt Breida is the starter, either way, I just think that Jordan Howard is going to be the starter only because he's the guy that you want to kind of tote the rock. Matt Breida is more of probably a third down guy, right? He's shown that he could be a great third down guy. So I'm not mad at it at all. Luka is on the clock, and he decides to take Jamison Crowder. I'm not mad at this pick. Jamison Crowder for the Jets is probably going to be the most targeted Jet on third down in that offense potentially. How do you feel about Jamison Crowder? Like obviously Quincy Enunwa has some injury history issues. Jamison Crowder had the majority of his success was in Washington, but he's still a solid guy in New York. Do you think that he's going to have a resurgence, or he's kind of plateaued?
I mean, Jamison Crowder is one of those guys that everyone's like, oh, I don't want Jamison Crowder. But then the weeks start coming along, and like, oh, did Jamison Crowder just score again? And did he score again? I mean, and it's a good pick. I mean, at least it's not the special teams unit here, and you're getting a solid another wideout. So, yeah, good pick, Crowder. PPR league. Darrell needs some weapons.
Yeah, not mad at it at all. And then Johnny Smith and Deshaun Jackson go behind him. Deshaun Jackson is a really good pick. I think Deshaun Jackson, if he stays healthy, again, can really – I mean, I'm seeing between 800 and 1,000 yards, nothing like 1,200, but, I'd say between 6 and 1,000, right? I'll give him a pretty big window there because he's so sketchy. If he gets hurt, it's sketchy. But if he stays healthy, it'll probably be between that 8 and 1,000 as far as yards. So I'm not mad at that at all. And then we had Harrison Butker, again, another kicker. I don't get this. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, when kickers and quarterbacks and defenses get taken early, it really, really sets the flow of things in motion. So we're moving on. We've got a lot of rounds left. We're going to try to get these picks going in quickly. Obviously, there's still some pretty good guys on the board. As you can see, Darius Slayton did come off the board here to end, I believe that was round 10. And then we had, to end round 10, I believe. And then we had Jared Cook. Wow, Jared Cook is actually still on the board. I'm actually surprised by that. I thought Jared Cook would be going a little bit sooner. But, again, with Drew Brees has, at his disposal, Jared Cook might not be he won't be the number one target, but he might not be even the third target. So I understand that Christian Kirk, wide receiver for Arizona, that's a phenomenal pick in my opinion.
And he's having a great draft. Really seems like it.
Yeah, he did his homework.
Yeah, he took my cousin late, but no, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, I mean, you'd think that Murray and Hopkins will be able to get Christian Kirk some more looks. They have more weapons now, so I think that's just kind of football IQ that he might receive some less attention. You know what I mean? But
makes sense. And then Bryce Love goes. I think Darren just wanted to make a fan pick there. He's a pretty big fan of Bryce Love. It's potential that Bryce Love does get some touches there. But I believe he also took Antonio Gibson, if I'm correct, or no, he didn't. Okay, he had Leonard Fournette. That's who it was. So he took Bryce Love. I mean, you still got AP there. Like I said, Antonio Gibson, who I think Chris took Antonio Gibson. That's who it was. See, Chris is a little smarter than Darren. I joke, I kid. With that being said, then Cameron Newton goes to the one and only Mr. Juan himself. I actually wanted Cam, so I'm not mad at that. And then Kerryon Johnson. Kerryon, you wet the bed for me last year. I'll never draft you again. Ray, you are on the clock.
I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk for the 49ers. That's not a bad pick, obviously. We talked about Debo earlier and how well he played. He had a pretty good Super Bowl. Brandon Ayuk, you're thinking he's going to be the second option, right? Well, talk to me about how you feel about that one, Sam.
Oh, I like the Brandon Ayuk pick. Obviously, I think the 49ers do a really good job of spreading the ball around, and obviously they have weapons there that are already kind of proven. But I think Kyle Shanahan's going to find a way to kind of mix him in. I mean, you don't spend a first-round pick on a guy and not play him. You know what I mean? So I think you would think he would be in the mix early in San Fran.
Makes sense. And then we got Sonny Michel going after that, and then Alexander Madison goes following Sonny Michel. So Richie is on the clock, and he's going to take Preston Williams, wide receiver for Miami, I believe. And I'm not mad at that pick. And Sam, you take Latavius Murray. This is why I don't like Sam, because Sam, he's in my head sometimes, especially late in the draft. It's the guy I was really going to. I was this close to taking him if he was there.
Well, I just feel like whenever Kamara goes down, Murray's a top 5 back that week. I mean, and with all these trade talks, and it doesn't seem like Sean Payton and Kamara's relationship's too perfect right now. I mean, they're not gonna like treat him like he's their guy. I mean, it's Michael Thomas and Breeze. They can get away with Murray. That's my opinion. And I like that was funny. You had a dream that he was going to Miami, but I could definitely see him changing destinations midway through the year.
I got you. All right. Well, I'm going to go running back here, and I'm actually going to take A.J. Dillon. I think that, to Ray's point, he's going to get a lot of goal line touches. If Aaron Jones does go down, A.J. Dillon is a solid back. He's one of those Derrick Henry type guys he's so big you don't want to tackle him. He potentially could end up being the starter. I'm not saying that I think he will be, but if he plays well enough, gets the system down well enough, and he shows to be a better pass blocker, he could end up starting on that team, or getting traded to someone, being used as, trade bait, quote unquote, to be a starter. A team might look at him and be like, I need that guy. So I'm going to go A.J. Dillon here. After that, Duke Johnson goes from Houston to end that round. And we're going to start, I believe this is round 12. And I couldn't see who was selected there. So
Duke Johnson just picked.
It was Duke Johnson. But I'm talking about the start of this round because I have the second pick in this round. I wasn't able to see it
yet.
Okay, well, while we're waiting, yeah, I think this is tough. I'm going to take a receiver. I'm going to take somebody that I believe I'm not taking Jalen Reagor. You can go ahead and get off of that. Only because he's hurt. I think he's going to be a good player, but he's hurt right now, and I'd probably waiting with him. I'm going to take N'Keal Harry from New England. I think, again, Cam Newton has to throw the ball to somebody. He's got Julian Edelman, but he's off the board. There's no longer Mohamed Sanu, so there's got to be somebody who steps up and helps. Somebody that steps up and helps Julian Edelman. It can't just be the Julian Edelman show all year again. So we saw the Baltimore Ravens defense take in prior to that, and then Daniel Jones, your quarterback. You got your man. I really like this pick. Sam, you got to talk to me, man, because me and you, we are the same with this guy. This guy has the tools, man. Like, he really, if it clicks for him, man.
I don't understand the knack on Daniel Jones. I don't understand it at all. I mean, what doesn't he have that you need in a quarterback? People forget he can run with his feet too. I mean, It's not uncommon. He threw for more touchdowns than Kyler did last year and didn't play the first 4 games. I mean, these numbers were phenomenal. And the schedule he played was terrible. He had to go to Foxborough on a Thursday night without Saquon, Shepard, Ingram. He went there with Darius Slayton. They played Jonathan Hilliman. He's a Rutgers running back who's cut. I mean, he was put in so many hard spots last year. This year, he's going to have weapons galore. And I just think Joe Judge and hopefully just a new positive environment there is going to help him out.
Man, I love Daniel Jones. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player in this league. I think he really might turn that franchise around. Obviously, we're having Saquon Barkley. If they get the offensive line together and that defense starts to play like what we expected them to play like with the pieces that they have, man, the Giants, they look like they could potentially be a team to reckon with. Then after Daniel Jones, John Brown goes wide receiver from Buffalo. I actually like that pick. I was going to take him at some point if he was available. Then Allen Lazard, wide receiver for Green Bay, and Sammy Watkins from Kansas City. Ray, you're on the clock. Who we got?
I took Hardman.
I don't know what that noise was, but Nicole Hardman, I'm not mad at the pick. The guy, I mean, again, you're talking about speed. Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Nicole Hardman, they might have one of, if not, the fastest receiving corps in the NFL. Not mad at the pick. Again, you know, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, these picks are getting stretched now. Now it takes a lot of thought and homework that goes into this. Anthony Miller from Chicago. That is Luca. I've got to bring Luca on. If you could bring Luca on, I would love to talk to him about that Anthony Miller pick. Juan does take the Buffalo defense, but Luca, if you could talk to me, why did you take Anthony Miller? I think that's such an underrated pick, especially at this spot. Luca, I don't know if you're there or not, but you are muted if you are. Okay, Luca must have made his pick and then went to go to the bathroom or something. I understand that. I get it. You know, get your pick in and take off.
Miller. I think Miller's a great player. I mean, you see a lot of that time. There's another good pick, but why not Anthony Miller? I mean, Chicago spreads the ball around. He's going to play well in the slot. And in PPR leagues, he scored for me last year. I had him. Every other week, he'd probably get in the end zone. You could probably expect 6 receptions for 50 yards. I mean, if he scores, you're getting 17 points. It's a difference.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%. I think Anthony, again, you got to throw the football at some point, right? And you can't just keep throwing it to Allen Robinson. There's got to be a number 2 guy. Anthony Miller's that guy, right? So I think it's a good pick. And again, he's solid. Like I said, the Buffalo Bills goes after it. Then Golden Tate, one of my favorite players ever, goes to Mr. Big Trust. He's finally starting to draft smartly. Then we had Drew Lock. Wow, great pick. Drew Lock Oh, that's such a great pick. Again, somebody's got to throw to Noah Fant and Cortland Sutton and all those weapons that he has down there. So good job, Chris. Chris has my favorite draft so far. And now Micah is on the clock. I think Luca is back. Luca, talk to us. Luca, I don't see you, but if you're there, give me a wave or unmute yourself.
A light.
Nothing. Okay, so again, so who is on the clock now? That's Micah. Micah is on the clock. Let's see what's going to happen here. We're gonna do auto pick for him because of the fact that he is obviously busy. So it takes Damian Harris and then Boston Scott from Philadelphia. I don't get that one, but whatever. So the Chicago Bears defense goes off to Chris. Chris, good job. Big trust. Luca, there he is. Luca, if you can unmute yourself. You took Anthony Miller last round. What goes into that pick?
I'm hoping Nick Foles is the starter. Like I believe in Nick Foles, man. I'm hoping he's a starter, and when he was on the Birds, he just passed the ball everywhere. It was a nice fair share, so I'm hoping Anthony Miller gets some of that.
Yeah. I think we all agreed. Again, you got to throw the ball to somebody other than Allen Robinson. So Anthony Miller looks to be the smart choice there. Then Chris Thompson now goes. Thank you so much, Luca. Chris Thompson goes to Big Trust. Again, that's a pretty good pick right there because again, you're talking about a Jacksonville offense where it's like they're rebuilding. At this point, they're probably going to run out and see who can play, who can flash on film for us, who can show that they can play in this league. So I like that Chris Thompson pick. Then Chase Edmonds goes. Edmonds, I like that pick. Again, somebody's got to give Kenyon Drake a spell, right? He can't run the ball every play. He can't catch the ball every play. So you got to give him a spell. Then Tony Pollard for Dallas. Again, decent pick. You got to get a spell for Zeke. And then we got Jared Goff. Jared Goff, I think, is a phenomenal pick. Jared Goff gets a lot of slack, but Jared Goff played extremely well last year. If you watch the film, he played well. The team wasn't good, but he actually played pretty well. But there was a lot of things that kind of went awry on that team. Cole Beasley from Buffalo then goes to Darius. I'm mad at that because that's who I was going to pick. And then Jalen Richard from the Raiders. After that, Jalen Reagor goes for Richie. Again, these are the rounds where you want to take a guy. Again, Jalen Reagor is projected to be out for a couple weeks. But again, we're in I don't even know what round we're in. Probably like 15 or 14 or 15 or something like that. So I understand it. Then you take Michael Pittman Jr. That is such wow, great pick, Sam. Great pick. I love that pick for Indy. Again, can't just keep throwing the ball to T.Y. Hilton, right? So you got to throw it to somebody else. I'm not mad at it. Show me who I got available to me, Jerome.
Well, I think Rivers really likes those guys that are kind of like that size. They could go up and get the ball and run a bunch of different routes. He kind of reminds me of a combination of Tyrell Williams back when he would play with Rivers and at the Chargers, and he almost has like a Keenan Allen type of like body type. So
yeah,
I think he's going to fit in well in Indy, and there's already talks that he's going to be the number 2 guy right away. So I don't think there's much downside into taking him this late. So
not at all. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take the Patriots defense just to get it out the way, get myself a defense, kind of solidify my team a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and keep it moving. After that, so Michael Pittman Jr., great pick. And then I take the Patriots defense. Darrell Williams is the next pick, running back from Kansas City. To end that round, we are moving into round 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what, 15? Round 15. Excuse me, round
14.
16. 14. Excuse me, 14. Yeah. Sheesh. We still got some time to go. All right. So first pick in round 14. Who is coming off the clock here, Chris? We're waiting for you. Who you thinking about getting? He's taking his time. All right. So while we're waiting for Chris to make his pick, what was your favorite pick in the draft so far, Sam?
I really liked I don't know. I mean, I feel it's a spread across the board here, but again, we already said this. I think Chris had a great draft. He stole Evan Ingram from me. I kind of got stuck taking Gesicki, and I just think he's really got like touchdown makers. I mean, these guys are going to make huge plays.
Yeah.
You look across this whole team, and there's not a guy on there that you're like, I can't see him scoring like every week. Like Barkley, Hill, like they're pretty much score every week. And
yeah.
It's just really hard to look past that.
Yeah, it's really phenomenal. I think my favorite pick is definitely still Todd Gurley, man. I think where Todd was taken, I just can't beat it. Give me a kicker, and so I can finish out my team. After that, we can auto draft for me. I'm going to go ahead and go with Greg the Leg. Obviously, he's on a new team, but let's go ahead and get the Leg. I think, hopefully he can continue to be who he was in years prior. So I've got, like I said, I've pretty much filled up my team. I've got every position slotted and filled. Jerome, if you want to auto draft from here, you can. For me, Robbie Gould is the next kicker taken. So I'm not mad at it at all. And now Richie is on the clock in round 14. Is there a strategy that you have that you would I say that you implement, or that you would want to kind of expose the fans to, that you use going into these later rounds?
I'm scattered all over my desk. You just find post-it notes, these random players that I liked from, I just like. And I like picking younger players like now, because you're not going to get guys that are going to impact week 1 now. So yeah. I feel like it's smart to pick guys that are like, he went down. Yeah, now it's his turn. And he played well in college, and he's going to have 7 weeks to pick up the system, and now it's his turn. So I think it's a lot about that, personally. That's kind of how I view it. I also look at teams that probably have better offenses that are going to score. So if guys go down, you're still going to get it's all about being in the red zone, in my opinion. If your guys have chances to catch the ball in the end zone, that's what separates good fantasy teams from great fantasy teams, the touchdowns.
Makes sense. All right, so after your Robbie Gould pick, we had Jerick McKinnon go. We had Adrian Peterson. Dag nabbit, I wanted AP. I love AP. I always have him on my team. Mayor of Tacos takes him. Jack Doyle then goes next to the tight end for Indy, and then the Minnesota Vikings defense. Adrian Peterson. Come on, Mike. You got to bring Mike on, man. I got to talk to him face to face. Let him know that I'm upset with him for taking my man, AP. Why did you take him, man? Talk to me. What went into your Adrian Peterson pick? You know I love AP.
Well, if anyone watches the Fantasy Acid podcast, I've said multiple times that Adrian Peterson is still the best player in the NFL. I think he's amazing. I think he's still really good. I hope that he breaks Emmitt Smith's record. That would be dope. So I hope he gets enough carries. I just wanted him. I don't know. I always regret not taking him. So
I always love AP. I don't think he's one of those guys you kind of can't go wrong if he's playing, right? Like, he's going to get consistent yards. He's one of those guys that falls forward. He's not going to give you 1,500 yards a year anymore. No. But he can get you, anywhere between 8 to 1,000 yards a year. Between 5 and 8 touchdowns. So he's a consistent guy that you would love to have on your bench. All right, appreciate it, Mike. So after Mike take Adrian Peterson again, Jack Doyle goes. Then the Minnesota Vikings. Then Nyheim Hines, and then we had Kiami. Where is that? Fairbairn. I can't see it. It's kind of glary. Then the Los Angeles Chargers defense, followed by Chris Henderson for Chris Thomas, tight end for the Jets. I think that's a pretty solid pick as well. Again, Sam Darnold's got to be able to throw the ball to his players, and so I don't know enough about Sam Darnold to know if he's a tight end happy guy. But I do know enough about Sam Darnold that he makes the right decision, or he tends to make the right decision. And with that being said, tight ends are a very good safety blanket. So we're going to go ahead and auto draft here for Micah. Again, he is very busy, so it took quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, and then follows it up with running back Darrell Henderson Jr., which means Chris is on the clock. Ben Roethlisberger and Matt Ryan are his quarterback for Micah. Again, quarterbacks that are just steady. As long as Ben Roethlisberger stays healthy, he's going to put up points. So I'm not mad at it at all. And obviously, him backing up Matt Ryan, can't be too mad at that at all. So Chris is on the clock. Chris, we're just waiting on your pick. Sam, who are you thinking about taking in this round?
There's still a bunch of receivers on the board. I think you probably saw it too. But if you look at these guys, I mean, they're going to catch passes. I personally like a lot of the Raiders wideouts. Hunter Renfro's still there, and this kid that I've loved for a while, Brian Edwards, huge kid from South Carolina, has a lot of range to catch the football. I think that there goes Renfro. I'm giving hints out now. But no, I think he's got a lot of potential, and Derek Carr is going to need to utilize every aspect of that offense to remain there. I mean, I think he's kind of running out of time, if I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're going to be so patient with him in Vegas now. I mean, they just got there. They need fans. They're not going to waste around going 8-8 with Carr for 3 straight years. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And if some of these quarterbacks like Prescott and Aaron Rodgers become available next year, you know what's going to happen. And I could definitely see Gruden making a move. Like, would anyone be surprised if that happened? Like, I don't think so.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So we're coming towards the end of round 15. And I believe Richie is on the clock. Larry Fitzgerald has just got picked up following Randall Cobb. Then the Tennessee Titans defense does get selected. And you take Mike Williams. Wow, Mike Williams was still on the board? Wow. Oh, my goodness.
I know.
Wow.
That's the name I didn't want to say. I mean, he's an unbelievable athlete. You see him he makes some of the best catches you'll see in the league. And, I mean, I think he's still number 2 receiver. Like, I think it's worth taking.
That's a shock. So let me get a backup quarterback here. I'm going to go ahead and take. This one is tough. I'm thinking Baker, but I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. He's consistent in putting up numbers, so let me go ahead and take Kirk Cousins here. Make sure I have a backup in the event my starter goes down. Hopefully he doesn't. But I'm going to go ahead and take Kirk Cousins here, which means that Chris is on the clock. Mike Williams was still available in round 15. I am shocked, man. That's a phenomenal pick. That's the most underrated, most thought out pick of the draft so far. The fact that Mike Williams was there,
starting on my team for like a couple weeks, and I took him around 15. I could actually see him playing.
Yeah, that's a great pick. All right, so Joshua Kelly ends the 15th round. We're going into round 16. We've got 2 more rounds after this. Chris takes Joshua Kelly after I take Kirk Cousins. Not mad at it at all. All right, so Chris is going to start off round 16. While we wait for him, I just want to bring on let's bring on Chris. Chris, I want to bring Chris on to talk to him. I'm sorry, Chris Thomas. I wanted to bring on Chris Thomas while Chris Serbo goes ahead and makes his pick. I forgot there's 2 Chris's. Chris Thomas, give me the beard. I want to fear the beard one time if he's still available. Chris Conley ends up getting taken, Jacksonville receiver. While I'm waiting for Chris Thomas to be put on, Chris, while I make my pick, I just want you to talk about your draft, man. I think me and Sam agree that you have had a phenomenal draft so far. What did you have a strategy, or was this something where you just waited until you saw who was available and constructed your team around it? As I go ahead and select, go ahead and give me a running backs room.
Outside of like Barkley and like wanted to take Russell Wilson early because
give me receivers.
Because like I know that like dual threat quarterbacks like after like Lamar and Patrick Mahomes got taken, I just played it by ear. I just waited every draft. I just waited by like every pick. I waited a little bit too long to get a second running back. I think that's going to hurt me. But other than that, I'm kind of really happy with the rest of my picks. I got solid wide receiver depth, and the biggest thing is Drew Lock. I wanted to make sure. I wanted to get like Daniel Jones or like. I forget the other quarterback I wanted, but he had the same buy as Russell Wilson, so that wouldn't be able to work.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All right. Well, I'm going to take Robbie Anderson here. I think Robbie Anderson, again, is a guy that, is a deep threat guy, perennially going over the 40 yards down the field targets every year. He's a speedster, so we know. RG3 doesn't have the biggest arm, but at the same time, you gotta throw it down there to keep the defense keep the defense honest. So after that, Baker Mayfield comes off to Sam, and then we have Dan Bailey and Derek Carr. Wow, Mayor Tacos gets his quarterback, Mr. Derek Carr. Nice, excellent. So many Raiders on his team. I love it, man. And then Rex Burkhead from the New England Patriots goes to Darius Riddick. Ray Roberts is on the clock and selects Lynn Bowden Jr. from Miami, which means that Luka's on the clock. So far in this round, I'm loving the Derek Carr and the Baker Mayfield picks. I think they're excellent. Baker Mayfield, again, he's got so many weapons. Talk about what went into that pick, Sam.
Well, I just figure I can get by with both the combination of him and Daniel Jones. So, I mean, matchup based, I feel like I'll be fine. And what I did was what I liked about it, I have Shepard, number one wideout with Jones, and I have Odell with the number one wideout with Baker. So if I start them, I'll get the double points, and I love getting those double points, the quarterback wideout thing. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to do it. It makes sense. That's the reason why I went with Will Fuller. Again, like you said, Deshaun Watson, Will Fuller, get those double points and different things like that. So not mad at it at all. And, oh, goodness gracious, I just cracked my back. All right, after that, we saw Gardner Minshew go, Dallas Goedert. Wow, beautiful. Then we had Joe Burrow, who I think is a very underrated pick. Good job, Darren. Curtis Samuel, Laviska Shenault. That one is a very, very underrated pick. Wow, I like that. I like Laviska Shenault. Obviously, I don't think that Micah made the pick himself. I think he's auto-drafted, but that's a nice, solid pick. Then he takes the Seahawks defense. The Dolphins defense comes off the board to Chris. Not bad. And now we're waiting on Mr. Darren Braxton. I'm not sure why the Dolphins pick was made, but I get why the Dolphins pick was made, right? Obviously, you don't really need two defenses right now on your roster, but at the same time, you got Xavier Howard and Byron Jones as your defensive back. Chris, is that the reason that you decided that you wanted to have Miami as a backup just in case they start getting, a ton of picks and different things like that?
I just needed a backup defense. I like the improvements that Miami did in free agency. Those guys played really hard last year for Brian Flores. I don't know how they got 5 wins last year, but you still have Xavier Howard. You added in Byron Jones. You added guys to improve their front seven. So hopefully I'm going to get some sacks, some strip sacks, and hopefully Byron Jones is able to, catch some interceptions that he wasn't able to do in Dallas.
Gotcha. I mean, it really makes sense. Like I said, I think that with that addition, they've got a secondary to be reckoned with. We'll see what happens. Then Denzel Mims comes off the board after you selected the Dolphins defense, then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, followed by the Philadelphia Eagles defense, who I think might actually be a little bit underrated going into this year. Now Ray is on the clock. Talk to me about these defenses here, Sam. Do you think, obviously defenses can – in a way, they can make or break your week, right? We saw with the Patriots defense last year. I think one week they ended up scoring 56 points for a team in our league. Is there a strategy that goes behind the defense, the defensive picks as well, or is it just, you're picking the defense and hope they play well?
I pick defenses more matchup based. I mean, I like streaming defenses personally. And I think it's a waste to take any defense before the last 2 rounds. I think you're just wasting draft slots that could be picked with potential like wide receivers or running backs that could make an impact. But I think my pick's coming up, and I'm going to take Dallas. They just signed a bunch of veteran free agents, and I think it's a smart defense. I don't think they're going to make any huge mistakes. They're not going to give up 30. Also, they play Washington twice a year, so it's a start.
That makes sense. Well, I'm going to be a homer here and go ahead and take my Atlanta Falcons defense, just to have a backup defense myself.
Did they improve in the offseason defensively?
Well, number one, they have Keanu Neal back. And so because of that, I think that's going to bode well for us. He's our enforcer on the back end of the defense. all reports out of camp are saying that AJ Terrell really is the real deal, and that the Lions actually should have taken him over Jeff Okudah, because Jeff Okudah has been heard to have been getting cooked in camp this year. AJ Terrell has, from what I heard, made plays on the ball against Julio, Calvin, and anybody else that is lined up against him. Obviously, we lost Vic Beasley, but we added in, goodness gracious, defensive end Dante Fowler as well on that side of the ball. Takarius McKinley has dropped. I believe he dropped from 260 down to 240 pounds. So he looks like he's in ready playing shape. I mean, I think that they're hungry this year, right? So I think it's going to be a pretty good season. So defensively, I think they're going to cause some turnovers. And obviously, we know they're one of the fastest defenses in the league. So as long as they play fast in that division, it's a team that's going to spread the ball out. It's a division that's going to spread the ball around a lot. You got Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Teddy in that division. So they're going to throw the ball around. So hopefully they can, force some turnovers. Then we had Justin Jackson go off the board to end round 17, and we're in the last round here, round 18. Blake Jarwin, tight end for Dallas, does get taken off the board. I'm going to go, let's see, pull up some of these receivers here for me, Jerome. All right. This is tough. Let me see the running backs real quick. All right, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Marquise Valdes-Scantling, and my draft with that pick, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I think again somebody that Aaron Rodgers can at least trust. I mean, he threw them the ball when Devontae Parker was hurt, so I think he's built up enough trust with Aaron Rodgers that he knows at different times during the game if Devontae Adams is getting double, triple teamed, I could probably go to this guy. So Sam, you got the last pick here. Excuse me, not the last pick, but the last pick of your draft going here. Who you going to take?
I'm looking for a backup tight end here. I want to just take another young guy that I could pray and maybe I could get lucky with. I really like this kid out of Chicago. It might be a stretch. His name's Cole Kmet. So he's Jimmy Graham's backup, and we all know Jimmy Graham's history, and I think he could get easily injured. And say Nick Foles plays by week 6, he's going to need more guys to throw to. They're going to end up doubling Allen Robinson. Like, NFL teams know how good he is. He gets overlooked here, but people know that's the option there, and I feel like they're going to need some random guys to step up and catch some passes.
I got you. Listen, I completely agree. Cole Kmet, again, great guy, and a good pick here in round 18. After him, Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen, I think, is a pretty solid pick here as well. It's just a solid pick. Richie, you took Greg Olsen. He's in Seattle now. He's an older, more veteran tight end. Russell Wilson doesn't tend to throw the tight ends a lot. What goes into the Greg Olsen pick?
Well, I mean, it's my last pick. Needed a backup tight end, and he's reliable. Russ likes his tight ends. Last year, I remember Disley and Hollister, or Disley and Kittle, like as my flex, and they both scored. So I know different teams, but yeah, I just feel like it's a backup tight end. I was just looking at Seattle's schedule and who they play that day. I kind of went with that kind of thing too. But I'm gonna use him 1 week unless Kittle gets hurt. I was looking at Scotty Miller, the Tampa Bay receiver, because the word he's looking great around camp, and he's the prototypical Welker Amendola that Brady had. So
yeah,
I was looking at that, but I didn't really need him. I have 7 receivers, so I didn't need 8.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Richie. But I think what Scotty Miller's downfall is going to be is Mike Evans and Godwin are going to demand the ball. I mean,
plus the 2 tight ends.
Brady's really never had this many guys that are used to catching 8 to 9 passes a game. and that doesn't allow him to go underneath for Scotty Miller for 7. You know what I mean? It's going to be Chris Godwin. I need the ball. I need to get paid. Or it's going to be Gronk. Why am I not getting the ball? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I definitely like Scotty Miller's potential, and I think he might find a future somewhere else or later on down in Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
it's definitely potential. I mean, if they're locking the guys up over the top, and you know, for example, let's say you play a team like, I don't know, okay, a team like San Francisco, right? Where you got a guy in Richard Sherman who you know you can kind of single cover on Mike Evans. Then you bring a safety over top on Chris Godwin. You've got I believe Quan Alexander is still one of the best coverage linebackers in the league, so he can guard Rob Gronkowski man up. Miller is a guy that could potentially come alive in that game. So I understand the sentiment all the way. So Danny Amendola comes off the board, then Zane Gonzalez, followed by Young Hoku, Chris Boswell, and now Big Trust is on the board. We're going to auto draft for him. Looks like he's left. It took Eric Ebron, tight end for Pittsburgh, and then Jake Elliott. Wow, Jake Elliott was still on the board for Chris Thomas. I'm not sure exactly why. We're going to auto draft the last pick. Ryan Suckup goes to Micah. All right, so the draft is officially complete. That is a wrap for the 2020 Inside the Hashes Fantasy Football Draft. Sam, talk to me about your feelings, man. How do you think this went?
I really liked what I did, especially in the later rounds. I feel like I kind of made up and got a lot of depth to back up my players that I picked early on that have that high risk, high reward type thing. So I think a lot of my roster is going to end up starting at some point in the year, and that's what I'd like to have. So
I like it, man. I think it's a really, really good. It was a really solid draft. I think it forced people to think more than just react. I think this season is really going to show, who really understands fantasy and understands matchups. And obviously there's some luck and everything that goes involved. But again, I love the way you and Chris drafted. I like Mike's team as well. A lot of Raiders, but I do like his team. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting season. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank my CEO and business partner behind the scenes, Jerome Jones, for doing all the production on this show. I want to thank you, Sam, for joining me as my co-host. Again, you guys, please don't forget to follow us on all your social media accounts. You can see it flowing right down at the bottom. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. At Twitter, it's Inside Hashes. Instagram, Inside the Hashes. Facebook, Inside the Hashes. Don't forget to check out the website, www.insidethehashes.com. Check out all the player interviews, the blogs, all the podcasts, obviously the fantasy football. Follow us on Twitch as well. You'll see your boy Sam there getting down and playing Madden and doing his thing. Again, Sam, thank you so much for joining me. For Sam Kirk, my name is Avery Collins. For Inside the Hashes, over and out.